Want some? Get some. Can I get a hell yeah? Yes, I am a pirate. You have to go with the pirates because, of course, they have cannons and everything. It's a pirate's life for me. Be proud of who you are and what you are. You're pirate.
It is a first down. Pirates.
Because when you're at East Carolina, you go for it every time. When you don't coach at East Carolina, you don't come to East Carolina, you don't play at East Carolina with a weak heart. Write it.
I think I've ever been in a building as loud as that was. It was deafening in there.
You live with Omaha? I can promise you that. And a triple all night long in Eastern North Carolina.
You're watching The Sports Objective, the podcast for Pirates.
My heart is purple and gold. I'm a pirate down to my soul, and I don't back down, not at all. Find out when the cannons explode.
All right, welcome into the Playback, the Pirate Football Playback, FAU style, as the Pirates go down to Boca Raton and kick some booty, 42-3. I tell you what, Kyle Barber, that would have been a great game to be at. But we'll talk about the attendance in just a second, guys. But Kyle, welcome into the show.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. It's odd. I guess it would have been a great game to be at. Boca looks like a great place to visit. They have a nice stadium. Their stadium's right on the ocean, palm trees all around. It obviously was over with at halftime, so no stress in the second half. Proud of the Pirates, finished 8-4. I really felt good about winning this game. I did think it was going to be a lot closer than that, though. I didn't think they would be able to stop our running game, and they didn't. Particularly in the first half.
Yeah, you remember what you said?
Yeah, their defense couldn't stop air. But so not really surprised at the outcome, but more the score. Super proud of the defense. The defense, obviously, two things. One, I think this defense really felt, I don't know if disrespect is the right word, but really felt disappointed in themselves after that UTSA performance. Shows a lot of pride for them to come out and hold FAU to 3 points. And the second part of that is everybody talks about our pass D and the run D being so good. If you look, we played two teams this year that run the air raid, FAU, and they run a true air raid, FAU and Coastal. And, we shut their offenses both out completely. Coastal or FAU got 3 on after that punt return. So our defense is better than the pass against the pass, and people realize, particularly if we can get pressure on the quarterback. And just proud of the football team, proud to finish 8-4. And I'll let somebody else talk now.
Matt Semenza from the Commonwealth of Connecticut. What's up, brother?
What's up, guys? Definitely feel good about the win yesterday. It was a great bounce back from that debacle last week down in San Antonio. And, we definitely took care of business. Like Kyle said, I was not expecting – a 42-3 blowout by any stretch, but defense played fantastic. Offense obviously took care of business in the first half, and overall, really good season. I love the direction the program's headed under Blake Harrell. I'd like to have 2 games back this year for sure. The NC State game and the Tulane game back. Ultimately, we came up a little short of our goal to get in the conference championship and have a chance to win it. But, for the most part, a really strong season. And now we need to take care of business in the bowl game.
No doubt, as we bring in Johnny Robertson. What's up, Johnny Stats?
What's up, fellas? Hey, I'm a bit embarrassed. I predicted 41-31. So the 41 was okay, but I should have had more faith in the Pirate defense. But hey, the win is a win, but, there are people out there that are going to say, why do we always take our foot off the gas? I mean, the game was never in doubt. We didn't even need to score in the second half, but I would have liked to seen a few more points in the second half, but no complaints. I'll take the W and bring on whoever in the bowl game.
Well, I think I agree with you in the third quarter, but I think the biggest thing they were trying to do is run clock. And we did that, and we were running the ball successfully. We just didn't finish it in the end zone. And in the fourth quarter, we took all the starters out for the most part on offense, and which was the right thing to do. Don't get anybody hurt. But yeah, I'd like to score a time or two more. I really didn't care after the third. I didn't care because the game. The only thing I cared about, I don't care about embarrassing Florida Atlantic. If it was, maybe UNC, sure, but I don't care about embarrassing Florida Atlantic. So in the third, because I kind of had a lot of faith in their passing game, so I was waiting for it to get it going. So I didn't want them to make the score look competitive, but by the end of the third, when they hadn't done anything, I didn't care that we didn't score in the fourth. It didn't matter to me at that point.
Let's bring in the head coach, Stevie Flythe, and commissioner of Lasker, North Carolina. What's up, brother?
What's up? Hey, you guys, what was the score yesterday?
42-3.
42-3.
Okay. We won, right?
Yep.
We did.
Okay. Then some people out there need to be happy. We won 42-3. Nobody got hurt. Yeah, we'd like a few more points, but guys, be happy. We were 2-10 2 years ago. Now we won 8 games. Nobody got hurt. The first thing that would have happened if we'd have got in there and tried to run up the score on Florida Atlantic, just like Kyle said, why would you want to run the score up on Florida Atlantic?
Exactly.
Hold on.
Gets hurt.
I was just
who's going to be the one saying we shouldn't have let the same people that are saying, and no, I'm not talking about you, John. I'm not.
I know that because that's not even my feeling. But
yeah, but what I'm saying is, from a coach's point of view, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't in that situation, because you're going to have the same people that say we took our foot off the gas in the fourth quarter. You got to play your reserves sometimes too. And you leave Hauser in there and he breaks something and he can't play in the bowl game. Those same people are saying we took our foot off the gas, or going to be the ones saying there's no way Hauser should have been in there in the fourth quarter of that situation.
Yeah. Hey, hold on, Dave, real quick. I just wanted to say, no, I have no problem. I actually enjoy watching the younger talent get in and get some good playing time, get a lot of snaps in. I'm talking about, as a stats guy, Stevie, I'm looking at the offensive numbers in the first half, and I'm like, oh, man, there's going to be so many stats coming out of this game that are going to be ridiculous. And then they just shut it down. And that I was disappointed just as a stats guy. All the possibilities that I was, seeing in front of me never materialized. But yeah, I'll take the win. And in the fourth quarter, definitely take Hauser out of there.
When I saw the stats and score right at the second quarter, midway through the second quarter, I said, it'll never hold up the second half because they're gonna run the ball. It's gonna be a run-heavy game the second half, and it was.
Yeah.
Well, what is funny about it is Blake kept talking about not letting off up the gas. And I don't guess he technically did in the third. It just
he didn't to the fourth.
We just didn't put it in the end zone. But man, we had some long drives that just absolutely killed clock. And I really impressed with the way the defense played. It was quite frankly unbelievable to hold them to 3 points.
Well, it's just like me and you talked earlier, Kyle. If it wasn't for that long kick return, they would have never scored.
Yeah, we shut them out. Would have been our second shot.
And why did that kick return happen? That punt return.
Low. It was no airtime whatsoever. It was a line drive.
Yeah.
Somebody said that's what happens when you have 2-second hang time.
Yeah, exactly. That was really all they had the entire day.
Yeah.
I mean, you take that away, just a bad punt there. You take that away. Tremendous job by the defense getting a stop there, by the way. I mean, this defense, you got to look at them sometimes, and people will move the ball, but they get stingy in the red zone. And, when you can get a stop like that, and, if you create a situation where you hold a team to a field goal there, that's a win. So really great job by the defense there. What can you say, guys, about Josh Aldridge and the job he did this year? And I'll eat crow, and we've talked about this almost every week, but I was really down on this defense coming into the season. I had no idea what to expect. We had to replace our entire D line. a lot of faces in the secondary, linebackers. I felt like we were going to give up. It was going to be one of those years where we were going to be in a shootout every week, like 30, 35 points a game given up on defense. But to do what he did yesterday, I mean, FAU was number 1 in the country in passing yards per game. Do I have that right, Johnny?
Yep, in the whole nation, number 1.
In the whole nation. And to hold them to 3 points, man, that is a hell of a job. So, hey, I'll admit it. I was wrong about this defense, and I'm glad I was.
Their quarterback, we shut him down. I mean,
we did. And not only the quarterback, but Messer, he's like a 5'9", 5'10".
Yeah.
He's the guy that almost scored on the punt return. But normally he's got, 5 or 6 big plays every game. And we really did hold him in check pretty much.
I'll say this about Messer. I'll take my hat off to Messer. He took some shots in that game. There was a couple of really big hits he took, and he came right back out there, and he was probably the best thing they had.
And props to Roy Tesh, talking about that D line. Those were Blake and his guys, and we really didn't do much in the portal on the defensive line, and those are guys that we developed in system, which is only a positive. Blake's still here, Roy's still here. And so those guys were developed in this system, and then Josh Aldridge, got the most out of them. So that's good, because in this day and age of the portal, when you're able to, because we ain't going to get, that's one thing we're not going to get much, is good defensive linemen and good offensive linemen are premium out of the portal. So being able to develop guys is huge, and we can do that here. And I think that, speaks volumes to not only Josh Aldridge, but to Roy Tesh and Blake Harrell.
Oh, I agree. Hey, since we're talking about Josh Aldridge, can I throw a Josh Aldridge stat out there?
Sure.
I don't often have that opportunity. But hey, now that the season's over, this is the first time since 1978 that we've held 4 opponents in a season to under 7 points. And the last time it happened, the competition wasn't at the level that we competed against this year. It was Western Carolina, VMI, William and Mary, and Marshall, back when Marshall was, FCS. But I thought that was quite an accomplishment to have 4 games where you hold teams under 7 points. That just doesn't happen very often. And then this was the first season ever that we won 4 games by 30-plus points since 1979. So,
that's surprising, actually.
I agree with that. I had to triple check it. I was like, that can't be right, but it is. So that's tribute to not only Josh Aldridge, but JDB too.
How the hell did we not do that in 2013? Craig asked how many teams we beat this year with a winning record. 2, and I'm going to count Army even though they're 6-6, because I'm going to just take that as bowl eligible. So I'm going to count Army in that and say 2 because they're 6-6, and then the other one was obviously Memphis. But I think if you check most teams outside of the SEC and Big Ten, where there's so many schools that have winning records because everybody's got so much talent, I think if you check most group of 5 teams, and kind of look around the country, I think we wouldn't be the Lone Rangers there. I think there's a whole lot of teams. Good teams beat bad teams, and fortunately, unfortunately, there's 2 ways to look at it. We didn't play South Florida. We didn't play North Texas. We didn't play Navy. We didn't play 3 of the best teams in the league this year. So, we didn't get an opportunity to beat them. But I don't know if you were just asking that. Just Coastal 6-6. Thank you. Yeah, correct. So 3. So
you beat 3. The teams that are on your schedule. You beat the teams that are in front of you.
And I don't know that Craig meant that in a negative way.
I'm just saying that's what everybody has to do. You can't change the schedule.
But the answer is 3. I think. Who pointed that out?
Ethan.
Thank you, Ethan, thank you, Ethan, for catching that.
Pays came in.
Yeah, and Pays. Thank you for catching that. Coastal did finish 6th. At one point, Coastal was playing really good ball, and we'll talk about coaching changes. We'll get to that here eventually. But we've got to finish talking about the Florida Atlantic game, get to bowl games, and there's a lot of coaching stuff to talk about, including Coastal firing their coach, which, Matt, I know you love that decision. I'm not so sure I do.
Yeah, I'll definitely get into that. I mean, but really, really quick without, I'm sure we're going to get into all this stuff later, but I'll just say I thought Coastal made a mistake by changing the spread option offense they had in place.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was the perfect offense for Coastal, and it never quite looked right to me under Tim Beck. I just think when you have a system in place that works, just no need to deviate from it, even sometimes with a coaching change. And anyway, I won't get into that right now, but I thought Coastal was best under that spread option.
Well, but here's the thing though about that. Sorry, JR. Since we're talking about Tim Beck, we'll talk about it. So you put that on the AD. You hire Tim Beck, he's not going to run a spread option offense. He's an offense coordinator, runs the typical pro style spread, if you will. That's what he ran. He switched that up this year. He went to an air raid. He was there 3 years. He had an 8-win season and back-to-back 6-win seasons. I mean, It's not like he was horrible. And then when you look at the rumor, Coastal's going to hire South Carolina's defensive coordinator. That doesn't do much for me. So to me, you're just making a change for the sake of making a change.
He worked with the AD previously, and
it's a bad hire.
It is. But hey, Tim Beck, in my opinion, had to go because his 5 losses. I mean, we just talked about East Carolina won 4 games by 30-plus points for the first time since 1979. Well, Coastal lost 5 games by 38 points or more this season. I mean, you can't do that. I mean, that's not even trying to be competitive. So I feel like, and a couple of those were home games, including ours, which we won 38-0. But they lost 5 games.
They got better as the season went. I know the
last 2 games though.
Not the last 2. JMU's really good, but
both teams were. Yeah, and they played South Carolina in the other one. So
exactly. So I mean, I don't know. I'm going to disagree with this. I think he had the air raid in year 1 starting to go. No, he did not, Pace. He had the air raid starting to go. I think if it would have given it another year, I think if he'd have given it another year, I'm going to disagree. I think they made a mistake, and I think next year they'll struggle to make a bowl game. I don't think they'll make a bowl game, particularly unless they don't make the hire that's rumored. But you hire South Carolina's DC. I mean, I'd have to see the staff he puts together, but I don't like that decision. I mean, I may be in the minority.
Was South Carolina's defense that great this year anyway?
No.
I mean, what Matt, you got the inside scoop on that. I mean, what?
No, they really weren't. I mean,
why would you do that if you had a team that, because wasn't South Carolina supposed to be top 25 team this year?
They were preseason. Yeah.
Yeah, and
13. I think they were number 13 and the quarterback was supposed to be a Heisman candidate.
Yep.
Yeah, and you won 4 games?
They were terrible. They were absolutely terrible.
Why would you want to hire a defensive coordinator from a team?
And they haven't hired him yet, to be fair. But that's
what I'm saying. Is even mentioned.
Yeah. No, if you're going to fire Tim Beck after 3 straight bowl games and going 6, I think here's my thing. Since they had Jamie Chadwell in a special situation that worked there, they don't have a lot of money. They put all their money into baseball, which I don't blame them. They can win national championships in baseball, and they've done it, and they don't have a tradition in football. So now in the NIL era, they don't have a lot of money to put into football because all their money goes to baseball. And unless that changes, I don't think anybody's going to really be successful there at the level Jamie Chadwell was. Jamie Chadwell came in before NIL. He ran a special offense. He had a special quarterback. And by the way, at Liberty, Jamie Chadwell's gone south with that offense. And that's probably because despite having money at Liberty, they have such weird rules players have to abide by that nobody wants to go live by those rules. So, but I don't know. I disagree with the firing of Tim Beck. Matt, you and JR think it was the right decision, but I think Beck, particularly being the last 2 losses for the JMU and South Carolina,
how about
I would have given him another year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hard. That can't, dude. If that's the hire you make, I mean, what's the point? You're making a change just for the sake of making a change.
And that, and that's one of the things, that's one of the themes you see around college football this year. All these programs firing coaches, without having a plan in place to move forward. I mean, how there's so many places like Penn State this year.
Wow.
You know, you fire James Franklin, which, okay, you know what? He was like 0 for 18 against top 10 programs. Fine. You know what? You want to make a change, but you need to have a plan in place. And they still don't have a candidate. And it's the same thing for some of these other programs. You know,
hey, Matt, I'll
Florida.
call you one.
I mean, Florida is I am not a fan. And we're going to get into all this stuff later, FAU, but I am not a fan of Florida hiring Sumrall either.
I don't mind it. I'll tell you what I don't like, and I think this was a plan in place, and sometimes the best laid plans don't work out. I think Ryan Silverfield was promised this job a couple of weeks ago at Arkansas, and it was kept quiet because it's a classy thing to do. And now they lost 3 in a row. I would imagine Arkansas fans are not too excited right now with this Ryan Silverfield
I
hire.
wouldn't be.
No, and he never was able really to win the American at Memphis. And
here's the thing, Kyle. Here's the thing you talk about too. How long ago? I mean, here's what we need to find out. How long ago was this talked about with Arkansas, and then match that up with how they started playing and how he started coaching?
Yeah, but you know, I heard nothing about this publicly, and if his players,
if he knew about it,
right. But with his players, I don't know that did he quit trying? Yeah, I see what you're saying, but. Yeah, I don't know.
Hope not, but
if I'm Arkansas, I'm not excited about that Ryan Silverfield hire. Dude, I think Summerall's a good coach, Matt. I know that he's not exciting in terms of offense, and I think that's what y'all wanted at Florida. I say y'all because of Chrissy, your wife. For our listeners who don't know, Matt's wife graduated from Florida, so he follows the program closely. But I think Summerall's a good coach. I do. I think he. Who would you have wanted? Who would you had preferred at Florida?
Well, Eli Drinkowitz was my number one. Obviously, they couldn't get him. But it's tough right now. I just don't see a lot of great candidates out there. And my thing with Sumrall is that
going after Wake Forest's coach.
Wake Forest?
Yeah.
Is anybody going after any ACC coaches at all?
I mean, he did a great job in year 1 there.
Yeah, he did. He came from Washington State. He did. I thought he did a great job.
He did a good job at Washington State too. So I'm shocked his name hasn't came up for any of these SEC jobs.
We may see.
How about Manny Diaz? I mean, he did a great job defensively at Penn State. He's done a really good job at Duke too.
Yeah. How about that?
Manny. Yeah, is another guy that by the way, interesting note here, guys. If Duke wins the ACC championship next week, and JMU. The winner of the American is going to be in Tulane or North Texas. But if JMU wins, and Duke loses, you're going to have JMU and the winner of North Texas Tulane in the playoffs, and the ACC champion will not be in.
Yeah, and JMU's favored by 22.5. They're playing Troy.
And I tell you what, I hope that doesn't happen, because if it does, they're going to change the rules immediately
to put us in our place.
It will be written as the 4 Power 4 champions get in, then 1 team from the group of 6, which essentially is what it is anyway. But they'll make it sure that's the case going forward. So unless one of those 2 teams, like if it's Tulane and JMU, if one of them pulls off an upset in the first round, they might change that a little bit. But they're not going to be happy about that. They won't let it happen again, that's for sure.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of JMU, their coach is going to UCLA, and I mean, he was at Holy Cross. He did well, but I think he's only been at JMU 2 years. Is that correct, Kyle?
I didn't hear that. So he's going to UCLA?
Yeah, get this. He was getting paid he's still at JMU. So I don't know if this is beneficial, but it's on a source that I know that it's going to happen. But it's on
breaking
football
news.
scoop.
JR is breaking.
No. I think this is everybody's pretty much aware of this. So anyhow, he was $900,000 with incentives and bonuses at JMU.
Holy crap! That's all the JMU's paying. That's a little surprising to me.
UCLA, $6 to $7 million a year, depending on if he meets.
Why?
That's what I'm saying. Because of the shortage of coaches. What made me say that is when you asked Matt, who would Florida rather have?
Right.
There's just nobody out there.
Right.
So,
so they're outbidding. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, it's a great market to be a head coach. And coaches are getting paid. Like Eli Drinkwitz, you mentioned him too, Matt. he's getting extensions. Everyone's getting extensions because they don't want to lose their coach.
So if JMU's head coach, I can't think of his name, but if he was getting
Bob
looked at,
Chesney.
for them to offer him that much money, somebody else was trying to hire him. So I would think so. Florida or somebody, they had to outbid somebody, because if I'm trying to hire a guy making $900,000 a year, I'm gonna start off offering him around $3 million. I'm not gonna jump up to $6 million just for the hell of it. So somebody else had to be after him.
Yeah, I'm surprised with that.
And here's the thing, too, to your point, JR, like there used to be coaches are just getting fired so quickly now. It used to be a situation where coaches were in place for a longer period of time. So you had the younger up and comers in place longer, right? In conferences like the American and the Mountain West. And so it was almost like a farm system where you could see a body of work over 4, 5, 6 years, right? And now these coaches they're getting fired so quickly. You're not seeing that long body of work from these guys coming up. But does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, you're just not seeing that anymore. So, again, like, you look at Summerall, right? Okay, he's done a good job at Tulane. Now I think he really benefited
did a good job
from Willie Fritz.
That, though.
He did well at Troy for sure. But I think he really benefited from Willie Fritz and the job he did there. Is his body of work, now, if I'm Florida's AD, this is what I'm thinking. Is his body of work enough to hire him, for that type of high profile job? And I don't know. I mean, I guess that's why they make the big bucks, but that's a tough hire for me.
I know, Matt. I feel the same way. So what I did was I just tried to figure out where's Tulane excelling this season? What are they like doing really well? And I'm not doubting he's a good coach. I mean, we all know that he's a great coach, but yeah,
he plays solid football.
But they're not really doing anything well. Their defense is middle of the pack in the conference. They can't pass the ball really. They're good at running the ball, and they're doing it with their quarterback. Like I just don't know. I mean, I don't know what the attraction is with him. I don't know what he's proved. To your point, Matt, that's your point. I don't get it either.
He won the Sun Belt, and now he's about to win the American. So, I mean, that's 2 conference championships. I mean,
I don't think I think North Texas is going to win that game.
But here's the thing. I think the problem with and I was teasing Matt yesterday about, that Florida only hires coaches out of Louisiana, the last 2. But he is a good coach. The problem is, does he match what Florida's looking for? I say not. What do you think, Matt?
I mean, to me, he's Billy Napier 2.0. I mean, you look at Napier 4 or 5 years ago before he got that job. His record was incredible.
Yeah,
I mean, his record was as good as anybody you've seen coming up through the ranks. But I'm just not sold on it. Maybe I'll be wrong. We'll see. Time will tell. He's got to be able to recruit at a high level. He's got all the resources in place. He's got a ton of money to spend. He's got to be able to recruit. And the thing is, Florida always gets good talent. They don't develop it lately. That's the big thing. And so they need to be able to get recruits and then develop them.
So, Matt, what I'm hearing you say is that it's Kyle talks about it a lot. It'll be interesting to see the coaches that he puts around him. Does he bring the same coaches from Tulane, or is he going to get some high-profile coaches? No disrespect to our friends at Tulane, but
it'll be a mix. I'll tell you one thing, Matt. You just mentioned it. He can work the portal really well. You look, he lost his quarterback to Duke, and then he goes out and grabs 2 good quarterbacks. He goes out and grabs one quarterback who ended up being the backup this year. I forgot where he was from. And then he gets BYU's quarterback when he was accused of rape, and then the girl, after he left BYU, says, "Oh, no, he didn't rape me. I lied." So I can tell you this: he works the portal really well.
I do hope it works out. I really do. Time will tell, fellas. I did hear they're going to hire him on I think it was a 6-year deal, and I'm like, what, a 6-year deal?
He thinks he needs to rebuild.
I mean, that's insane to me.
So, in other words, he would get 2 or 3 years where they'll give him time. I don't see that happening in Florida, and I'm not anti-Florida. I think, Matt, I was going to tease you about, forgot to text you. I just realized that they were looking at Deion Sanders at Florida. But
the thing is, though, Florida's been so bad for several years now that,
is that a good job?
If he comes up next year and goes 8-4, and then goes 9-3, and then 10-2, and then 9-3, and then they may, kind of like Tennessee with Josh Heupel, where he's not competing for national championships there, but he has them good every year. Will Florida fans be satisfied with that now, Matt? Because they've been bad for so long. Will they be satisfied with 9-10 win, type seasons? Honestly, a 10-win season will get you in the playoffs in the SEC. But will they be happy if, he goes 8-4, 9-3?
No. I'll tell you, man, one thing I've learned about Florida fans over the years, just having been to so many games in the Swamp, they are some of the most demanding fans in the country. And the years, you go back to the Spurrier years, you go back to the Tim Tebow years and Urban Meyer, and the bar was set so high at that point that they just will not settle for anything but national championships down there. So, and I think they're a little wacky with it, I think their standards are sometimes a little out of touch with reality, but I'll tell you, that's a high pressure job, man. And they, to your point, Kyle, they're going to expect him to win right away.
Look at Dan Mullen. Dan Mullen goes at UNLV. I know competition. Everybody can tell me that. But
Dan Mullen's a good coach.
He went 10-2.
Yeah, that's what I just said. He's a good coach. What did you think I said?
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying that the fact is that you take these coaches.
Well, he never really did that bad at Florida. He did better than Billy Napier ever has.
I agree. I think that's what Matt's saying. Unrealistic expectations.
Have they been humbled is what I'm asking, though, JR. Have they been humbled? I mean, they fired Dan Mullen, and then look at Napier does worse. So, I mean, I just wonder if their expectations will be down a little. Like Tennessee. Of course, it took Tennessee decades before they got
Tennessee. Hey, Kyle, I'm a Tennessee. I follow them. They're not happy right now with him because
you can't him. Go ahead and fire him. Go ahead.
You can't lose to Vanderbilt at home, and they're just not. I think I'm not saying they fire him. I'm saying the fans they're not happy with what's going on down there.
I hope they wait one more year because when Blake wins the American next year and gets a Power 4 job, I hope they fire Heupel at that point so we can hire him.
I'd take him for sure.
Hey, you see that Memphis is going to make a run at Mullen.
That's interesting. They got more money than UNLV. There ain't no doubt about that. FedEx guy, that's what pays. If they can get Dan Mullen, I'd take that trade. They win there. Yeah. I think he's a better coach than Silverfield. I'm a little surprised he didn't come up for that Arkansas job, honestly, or the Auburn job.
I agree with you guys. That would be a tremendous hire for Memphis. My thing is, at this point in his career, I kind of think Mullen handpicked UNLV. I think he wants to be out there in Vegas. He wants to be in the warm weather, in the desert. I mean, Memphis is not the most desirable place to live. I don't know. I think it depends on what stage of his career he's at. Does he want to, just kind of stay out there and build a program at UNLV?
I don't know. He certainly lived in Starkville. So, I mean, I don't know. That's a good question. We'll keep lead for that.
UNLV has had issues paying Mullen. Not sure if that has changed.
Interesting. Yeah, I know they have some trouble making NIL commitments. So, that's a good approach from Memphis for sure. If that's truly who they're going after, go ahead and swing for the fences. If you can get him, great. If you don't, then I'll tell you what. Like I said, I think he's a better coach than Ron Silverfield. I think that'd be a tremendous hire.
Definitely, 100%.
Hey, when UNLV hired Mullen, the AD did say, "We don't have the money for this contract, but we'll find it." So, like Bubba said, I don't know if they found that money or not.
That's it. I'll tell you what, that would scare the hell out of me if a company was hiring me and they say, "Hey, we really want to hire you, but I don't know if we can have the money to pay you right yet." I mean, I've never heard of that before.
Go with the purple, Dave. Go with the purple. You just went past it a minute ago.
Fellas, I think we should talk about ECU a little bit here. What do you think?
Sounds good.
There you go.
Really?
Leave it right there. Or change it.
That was not purple. That was like
It was certainly purple.
that was
This looks. Is this purple? All right, is that looks more? Well,
That's a light purple.
It's
Yeah.
white. That looks like
that's
something you
pink.
see on a Boston.
that's pink.
Heel
There we go.
commercial
Let's leave it there.
Kyle.
Boston, by the way, in this portion of the Sports Objective, is brought to you by our friends at Balsam Hill. Balsam Hill, the home of look, Matt Semenza has put up 8 Christmas trees, all Balsam Hill trees, in his home in Connecticut.
And
It's
there's currently a couple more getting ready to go up in the next 20 minutes.
Yeah, it is a Connecticut Christmas, a New England Christmas tradition.
It's going to be on
Balsam
Netflix.
Hill and the Semenza family since
The
1971.
Semenza family Christmas is going to be a special on Netflix this Christmas.
There's going to be 1 an hour for the rest of the show here.
One tree going up an hour. There we go.
Matt's going to sing "Oh Holy Night."
Oh, that's sweet.
And Matt, don't forget your slogan. It's better than real. It's Balsam Hill.
I did watch. I did get myself ready. I was watching Christmas Vacation last night.
I want you to
probably
repeat
for
the
the
line.
first time out of about 25. Over the next month. So,
Did you watch it on TNT or was it unedited?
it was on TNT. Yeah.
Oh, so when he does the line where he's requesting his ball, it's edited. That sucks.
So anyway, do you guys want to talk about the Pirates?
Yeah,
Sure.
that's a good idea. Do we want to break down the game anymore, or do we want to jump into bowl projections?
Well, I've got a few things. I actually put in the teleprompter the notes. If you guys see that, I put notes for you guys. If you can see where on your screen.
Teleprompter.
Anybody see them?
Can y'all see them?
I don't see a teleprompter. I'm on my phone.
I don't see them.
Yeah, it's under notes. But anyway, so the attendance, guys, get this: 14,712 is what they had listed.
Jesus. You gotta be kidding. If they
This
were
looked like another Temple game to me.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like
It would look worse than that.
there was more Pirate fans than FAU fans. It felt like
If there was 14,000 people in that stadium, then I am a rhinoceros. I couldn't come up with anything funny. They might have sold 14,000 tickets, but there might have been 1,400 people there.
Yeah, it was not a lot of people there.
maybe.
Conan says there were more folks at the FAU library than at the game.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it was horrible. I mean, that's embarrassing. They got a beautiful stadium, beautiful campus.
Yeah.
A great location. I know their football team was out of. I wonder how many more people would have been there had they beaten UConn and were playing for bowl eligibility. How much difference would that have made? Probably not that much.
Yeah, we've talked about it, but the big picture: first 8-win season since 2014. The first time ever 6 wins in the American, which is hard to believe since we've been there for like 11 seasons now, maybe 12.
Since 2013.
Yeah, and then the ECU is 8-0 when we score first.
2014, rather 2014.
Yeah. Our offense is averaging 33.5 points per game. Our defense is only giving up 20.3 points per game. That's amazing, consider the debacle last Saturday.
Yeah, you take that away.
Yeah, that's what hurt. Matt, when I saw that, I thought about you. When you look at that we've only given up on the average for the season 20.3 points per game, and you have the debacle last week. Can you imagine what it would be like? Kyle's saying, I thought about you. I was like, man,
it'd be around 16 or 17 probably.
Yeah.
No, it definitely changed it. Like we talked about, defense has played great, and you look at yesterday, guys. I mean, to your point, Dave, 8-0 when you score first. That's why I like for this team to receive the ball a little more than I normally do.
Yeah.
But we were able to go right down the field. A really good mix of run and pass. But I think the thing that really changed the whole dynamic of that game was we go up 7-0 on FAU's first play, which was a little wide receiver screen.
Yes.
Jordy Lowry, not to be confused with Jordy Lowerly.
They're cousins.
Hey, we were hard on him earlier in the season. He's played much better recently. He made a big strip there. Really nice job by the defense, kind of holding the receiver up, and then he was able to come in and swipe the ball out. And now you get the ball, I want to say it was like right around the 25-yard line. Very next play, we ran just a beautifully designed play to DeCerio Riles.
Yeah.
Probably I think it might have been like my favorite play we ran all year, to be honest.
He wasn't touched either.
He was not touched. We had action going to the field side. We brought that play back to the boundary. And our offensive lineman actually got out in space and made some really nice blocks there. And to your point, he never got touched. But you're up 14-0 about, I don't know, what was it, 3 minutes into that game? And now it was just on from there. But really nice job kind of getting out of the gate and just taking a big lead.
Why do we keep switching to Duke Blue? Is that because of them being in the ACC championship game, Dave? Are you celebrating?
No, I'm trying to. Bubba has texted me. I'm trying to get it. He said it was pink. I had it there. So
it was purple. That was not pink.
He wants to do the.
Wait a minute. Go back one. Go back one.
Purple, blue.
That purple or blue?
You keep yelling. You keep yelling every time you change it. Purple.
Purple. That looks purple. That's pink. That's pink.
Trying to get. I know that's
hot pink. Blue.
That's blue.
Oh my God.
We had it purple. Yeah.
Kyle, guess what just happened?
Your mom called and said she loved me more than you.
2 more trees just went up at Matt Semenza's house.
That's 10 trees from Balsam Hill.
Only 2?
No, that's 12, Kyle. We had it.
No, we were at 8. That's a 10. That's 10 now.
Okay, that's 10 then. Okay. So 2 more trees just went up.
all right. So
All right, go back to that color. Bubba just texted me. Go back to that color that Bubba says is pink, and we're going to take a survey.
all right.
All right, we're going to take a survey from our listeners.
Look at our color chart.
All right, that's pink. That's pink. That's not it. That's not it. Blue.
Yeah, blue.
All
right.
Jesus Christ, can you get back to purple?
Yeah.
That's pink. That's pink.
All right, I'm trying really hard to.
All right, they're right there. All right, listeners, is that purple or pink to y'all?
Anybody?
All right, what do y'all think? Matt, JR, Stevie?
I'm colorblind. I could be anything.
That's not purple to me though. That detective of travel says pink.
Pink. Okay, I'm the only one seeing purple here.
Ethan says light purple.
Light purple. Yeah, I would say. Who cares? Anyway, let's move on. Let's quit talking about the damn
Bubblegum
color.
pink is what somebody should say too.
All right. Well, is there a purple?
I think he went through all of them.
All right. Well,
we'll work on it. I'm sorry, guys. Like something happened.
All right, Matt's going to get disgusting and leave the show here in a minute. So let's talk about something else.
Hey, let's talk about the Ross kid. What'd you guys think of him coming in the second half?
I thought Dave. First of all, he only had 12 snaps the whole year, and I didn't even recognize the number. I had to figure out who he was. And he got a little bit excited, a little too excited.
Yeah.
And I was glad to see Blake, pull him out and chew him out. And I'm sure he won't do that again. But excellent coverage by him. Oh
gosh, he played great. I mean, where's he been all year? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, not on the field. Well, look, Jordy had a great game. I think he had his best game of the season. I think it was his highest graded game. And his backup is Chance Graves, and he had a good game. And then, this freshman Ross came in. So I think we have him to look forward to because Graves is going to be gone. He's a senior.
I know you guys will disagree with me, but the thing that drives me crazy about football is exactly that play. He makes a very big play, and I know you guys are going to disagree with me. I know what the rule is. But I have no issues with him spiking the ball there. I'm not saying I understand what the rule is and why he had to be disciplined, but that's what makes football. I mean, it's an emotional sport, and to me, he catches the ball, he spikes it. I don't.
That wasn't the one that got him in trouble. It was the second.
I didn't have a problem with the spike, even though he got a penalty on the spike. I don't have a problem with the spike. The second one, he made the good play, and then right there in front of everybody, just taunted the guy. And, I mean, say what you want to about the rules. Rules are rules. Maybe sometimes they get a little too nitpicky, but he did that right in front of two referees on their sideline and knew he had already have one on him. So, I mean, you got to use your head. I know he was excited about getting on the field, but you got to use your head sometimes.
Yeah, and I like his passion, and he wants to make plays. He got on the field and got out there and tried to ball out. He wasn't going through the motions. And I'm sure Blake, after he chewed him out, I'm sure talked to him after that and told him how proud he was of his performance. But let's keep our emotions in check. But he looked great. I hope he sees the field more going forward. He just needs to keep his temper in check. Or not so much. It's not even that he did anything that disrespectful.
No.
It was just you already had one personal. Don't get the second.
Smart.
Yes, don't get the second. But love his playmaking ability. Matt, what did you think?
I was impressed with the way he played. Definitely some idiotic penalties there on his part. Like, he's a young guy. I think it's his first playing time. He's obviously pretty fired up, but you got to learn how to control it. I was glad to see Blake chew him out a little bit. And, hey, just learn from it. He's got the entire offseason now. Well, not the entire offseason. He's got a bowl game coming up here in a month, but he's got to move forward from it. Yeah. Control your emotions a little bit.
Hey, Matt, what did you think? J.D. Lampley made one tackle, but boy, he made it. He made it
big
count.
one.
You sent out Matt made a video of that play, and I put it on a loop and watched it for a couple hours. Can you tell about that? Can you talk about that play, Matt?
He laid that dude out, man. They ran like some sort of that ball.
It was almost like a flea flicker screen, Matt. It looked like to me because they gave the ball to a receiver coming in motion. Receiver handed it back to the quarterback, and then it was like that Messer kid. It was the Messer kid that caught the screen off to the side, and Lampley was just waiting for him.
Yeah, that's like the dream scenario. I mean, that might only happen once a season where, like, the guy's not – he has no idea you're coming, and Lampley got a full run and just buried him. I mean, that was pretty awesome to see. And, at that point, we had everything going right in that game. But, I'll tell you, that kid, Messer, is that how you say his name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, man, I'd love to see him in purple and gold because
he's tough.
Player. Is he a senior?
No. He came from Western Kentucky with Veltkamp, and Kitley brought both of them with him.
Okay. Yeah, that kid can play. He was the only player on that team that impressed me yesterday. I was not impressed at all with Veltkamp. I mean, he looked awful, in my opinion. Some of those picks he threw.
He was so bad. Yeah, he was so bad that they yanked him. He only needed 61 yards to set the single season passing record for FAU, which was set when they won Conference USA when Lane Kiffin was their coach in 2019. And the quarterback back then had 14 games to get that record. And he only needed 61 yards, and they yanked him in the third quarter because he was just not in that game. That
last interception he threw, I have no clue who he was throwing the ball to. There was nobody around. Yeah, I mean, whoever it was that got the interception for us was the only one in that vicinity. It was terrible.
Yeah, he was frustrated.
Yeah, he was trying to make something happen that was certainly not there. And I tell you what, guys, with having those 42 points in the first half, and then how about we have Matt? I know you had to be happy with the 5 turnovers for the defense.
Oh yeah, I mean, anytime you can take the ball away like that, you're going to be in business. And I just thought it was one of those days where everything worked. Everything was working. Marlon Gunn got it going on the ground. I thought that was the best Marlon's looked since his freshman year, guys.
Yeah, over 100 yards. I think it was 130 yards, Matt. Is that right, John?
I couldn't have been happier for him either.
Yeah. So that was nice to see. I think Brock Spalding continues to be, again, we say this every week, but that kid came out of nowhere this season. And And now, he's just a playmaker. I mean, he's really good on wide receiver screens. You can hit him on the deep ball. He's one that, I don't know what his plans are, but he's one you have to keep in the fold for next year because I think he's set up for a monster year.
Yeah.
Hey,
I can add this though. I'm sorry. I was just going to say I spoke to his dad. This was at the Navy game when it was in Annapolis. This was a couple years ago, but he told me that Blake was he was a pirate for life. Is what he.
I'll tell you what.
Brock, you mean?
Brock Spalding. Brock Spalding. I knew Blake didn't sound right. Brock Spalding's dad said that, and Brock's been playing the slot
guy
a lot.
light, I think.
No, Brock's been playing the slot almost exclusively. At UTSA, he played the Z a lot, but I don't know. I think he's so versatile. You can put him anywhere, and he's going to get the job done.
I'll tell you what, especially early in the year when we needed a spark, Spalding was one that made it happen. I mean, the state game, that he's the one that got it going for us on offense.
Yeah, Brock had a big game. He's had several big games this year, and you kind of forget about Brock until he makes a big play. He's one of those guys you just kind of forget about them. Boom, pops up big play.
Yeah, he definitely a huge difference. By the way, if you guys can see, I put the comments on the screen because a good problem to have. I want to thank everybody listening and watching tonight. Matt, we've got a huge crowd, so I appreciate that. He's asking, is Brock out of eligibility? I thought he was just a junior, right?
I'm not seeing any comments on the screen, Dave.
He's a junior.
You're on your phone. You probably can't see him, Kyle.
Yeah, so I think it's different for device, but yeah, he's a junior. Brock has 1 year of eligibility left, so we need to hang on to him. We need to try to hang on to Yannick. I think that one's going to be a little more difficult. Honestly, Yannick underperformed this year, but he's still going to be hard to hang on to, and somebody we need to try to hang on to. And guys, somebody else we need to try to hang on is John David Baker. Can't believe this hasn't came up yet, but rumors out there. In fact, they look like they had legs earlier that he was going to be the OC at South Carolina. I briefly posted it as a rumor on our social media and then quickly deleted it after I spoke with Igo, and he had got confirmation from sources he trusted very much that he had not talked to South Carolina and wasn't planning on talking to South Carolina. Now, does that mean he's going somewhere else? Who knows? But, JDB coming up for the South Carolina OC job. I'm sure you'll hear his name come up for other OC jobs. Same with Josh Aldridge. So, Blake Harrell has his hands full right now trying to keep the staff together. And then with the portal coming open in January, and then you got recruiting in December, you got bowl preparation. The NCAA, somebody posted this earlier on social media. The NCAA needs to fix this. You have the coaching carousel, which is inevitable at the end of the season. You have National Signing Day in December. You have the portal, which thankfully has been pushed back from December to January, but it's still right after. It's in early January, January 2nd to January 16th. There's just too much going on. I think you need to push signing day back to February, where it used to be, and have that as the only signing day. And I think you need to probably, even though it's going to suck, I think if you're going to have one portal date, it probably needs to be post spring, even though it kind of sucks because you're going to lose kids after spring that you thought you were going to have.
Yeah. Hey, Kyle, the portal's actually already opened for FCS teams, and I found we got another cornerback from Western Carolina that's in there that maybe we can get in here. 6'2", 190, good length, and he's got 3 interceptions, 8 pass breakups, 49 tackles, which is good for a cornerback. I mean, it's early. I was surprised. I didn't even realize the FCS already had the portal open, but they do, and there's a ton of people already in there, and it's fun just to go and look at them and imagine who might be a good fit here.
Now, can you declare? Is it officially open for the FCS?
Yeah.
Or
they're in. They're in. You can contact them. They're in.
They're sitting in the portal right now.
Yep.
See, that's just wrong. That's just wrong. I don't agree with that. I mean, it needs to be after the playoffs.
Well,
I'm sorry, but as long as
I
that
agree
season's
with you.
going
I
on, you
agree
shouldn't
with
be
you.
able to do that.
I agree
It's
with you, Stevie.
ridiculous, Stevie.
I agree with you, Stevie. I would say the only difference is, unlike college football, where you have so many teams participate in the postseason, in the FCS you only have 16 teams that it would affect.
But still,
It's still 16, right? Or have they gone up to 20 now or they've raised that number? How many teams are in the FCS playoffs now?
It was 16, but I think you're right,
Yeah,
Kyle.
it's no longer 16. I want to say it's 24.
Okay. Is it 24?
Which is too many, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But I could be wrong. I haven't followed it.
Dave, is that supposed to be purple?
That's what Bubba says. Yes.
It looks blue to me.
that looks a dark blue to me.
It looks navy, yeah.
Yeah, navy. Thanks, Kyle.
Rusty?
What?
Kyle knows what I'm talking about.
It's Rusty still in the Navy. Listeners, does that look like purple or dark blue to y'all?
Blue.
Ethan says purple. Okay,
Hey.
dark purple. Matt says blue.
Hey, bring up B. Pace's comment about the Carolina wide receiver going into the portal today. So the portal, evidently you can declare for the portal because he did today. I saw his post.
Yeah, but I don't think you can contact him yet. I think you can say your intent.
But that's still, I'm sorry, that's still wrong to me. I know Carolina's not bowl eligible or anything, but if you made a commitment to that team,
I agree with you.
For the
I
whole
hate it.
season, you need to be with that team for the whole season. I mean,
Well,
I
you
know
were
their
for
season's
Carolina.
over. Yeah, Carolina's season's over, but still, I just
That place is a dumpster fire.
I would be surprised if Belichick gonna have a NFL.
Can we get
job.
Igo? Can we get Igo in here to clear this up? Because I know the portal officially is open January 2nd through January 16th.
I'll call him right now, Steven.
You know, I'll text him right now, but I just want to know. I'm confused by this. I mean, I'm assuming you can go ahead and say what your intent
You can
is.
probably declare, but it's like you said,
Nobody
it
can
can't be
contact
contacted.
Yeah.
You know, guys, just really quick, taking it back to the whole JDB thing, that was something I really wanted to talk about for a minute because I think Ole Miss would be the likely landing spot for him if it does happen. And, you know, it looks like they're going to hire the defensive coordinator to take over that job. And so, you know, the question is, you know, how tight is he with JDB? Does he view him as a guy who's ready for that type of a high-profile job? And, you know, let's just say JDB does go. You know, what I'd really like to see is I want to stay with this offense. I do not want to change offenses again.
Nope.
I think it's a really good style of offense for East Carolina. So if he does go, you know, I think you really have to consider hiring from within somebody on this staff that who you know, you might consider that next guy, or
I don't think there is.
You want to stay in that Lane Kiffin tree, because I think the worst thing right now that we could do as a program, I think the worst thing we could do would be to change offenses.
Agreed.
I don't know that there is anybody within. That's the problem I see in something that if Baker leaves that I would address going forward. Whoever my next OC would be, there would be a clear-cut number 2 on staff that is ready to go to call plays. I don't see that. I don't know. Yeah, I know Maddox has experience calling plays in the past.
At UTSA, Maddox has, and
but it wasn't this offense.
No, and Darrell Roberts has never been a coordinator of any. He's never called plays, but the other one, the running backs coach, he called plays at Colorado Mesa for one season, and that's at a completely different level. I don't think that transfers to the
that's what I'm saying.
Rodney Freeman is who I was thinking of.
I think if you can keep the system in place for a similar system, you know, there's other systems that are similar.
Yeah,
so I would keep a spread tempo offense that utilizes the run and isn't just a full blown air raid.
I did want to say though, he's not. I don't think JDB could possibly go to Ole Miss because they were talking about hiring Joe Judge as the next head coach, and he's currently the quarterback's coach. And then he might have brought JDB in, but now that they hired the defensive coordinator, I'm pretty sure that Joe Judge is going to be the offensive coordinator.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but any chance that JDB goes to,
unless Lane Kiffin, steals him or something.
I was about to say, any chance JDB goes to Baton Rouge?
Did you all hear any of that?
We did, yeah. I followed up. Any chance JDB goes to Baton Rouge?
It looks like Lane's bringing his OC, so
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah. The thing is,
loan is available. He sure is.
I really believe that the best thing now this is obviously I'm a little biased here, but I believe if you look at keeping this the way this program is set up right now, and you look at next year, if you're able to keep it intact, you keep Hauser in place, you keep guys like Riddle, you keep JDB, you keep everything going, you're set up for a pretty special year next year. And if I'm JDB, I really have to consider, if you're looking at the next step in your career, if you can get to a point where you win a conference next year and have a chance at the playoff, you look at Kenneth's, I agree. If you, with Kenneth's comment right there, if you keep everything intact, you're going to have a chance, as good of a chance as anybody. So I really think it might be in his best interest to stay. And, you just hope that that he doesn't chase the money, because we know more money is out there.
Yeah. Irving says maybe one more last chance in the next couple of years to make a national presence and get into the college football Power 4 country club. Cue the theme from Rocky. Let's go.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't, I don't know. I don't, here's the thing. I really don't think there is a Power 4. I think on paper there's a Power 4. There's a Power 2. The ACC, do you guys right now, well, maybe with the outside chance of Texas Tech, if they get hot, do you guys see an ACC or a Big 12 school that you think is a legitimate chance to make the national championship game? I don't. I think it'll be SEC, Big 10, or Notre Dame. And so I think Power 4 is an illusion. Then that's, there's not a school in the ACC right now, including the two in the championship game. I think the best team in the ACC is not even playing for the championship, Miami. But I'm not scared to play UVA. I'm not scared to play Duke. Give me a break. We may end up playing Duke. The Big 12 the same way. Look, BYU's playing for the Big 12 championship. We went toe-to-toe with them. So I don't think there is a Power 4. I think there's a Power 2. It's only a Power 4 on paper, and I don't think it's going to be on paper for very much longer.
Yeah, I believe one of the things I told you guys earlier today is speaking of the fan base, and I'm not going to hit on the administration. The fan base, we've got to step up, because if we have the money to step up and give that money to these players, they more than likely they will stay. I think there's some that will leave because, Matt, there's going to be some that leave regardless anyway, because they're not getting playing time, or our coaching staff says, hey, you're not going to get playing time. We appreciate your services here, but, to open up a slot. But for me personally, I believe that, for example, it was said that Hauser would be like $1 million. Well, we have donors out there that can come together and get his and say, look, Caden, yeah, we're not Alabama or the other schools, but we can still give you $1 million.
Well, I think it's going to take close to $1 million. And, I was kind of poking around today, reaching out to some people who I trust and trying to figure out how much money we're going to have to spend this offseason. And, the number kind of varies a little bit, but, I'm hearing, it's going to be roughly around $4 million.
I was hearing that already too.
Yeah. So, I mean, it becomes a question of, like, to me, and you guys let me know what you think, but, like, to me, the first thing you have to do with the program is have a great quarterback in place. Yeah. So if we have $4 million to spend, if that's truly our budget, I think it's worth spending, $1 million on Hauser. I really do.
Yeah.
Because without that quarterback, you're not doing anything. And I think Dave, you made a really good point earlier today in the text chain when you said you're set up so well for next year. And I'll let you expand on this, but you're set up so well for next year. You kind of have to take a shot. You got to take your shot right now.
Yeah, I feel like that the way we are is that our fan base, thankfully, is a passionate fan base. And I feel like when you look at who's coming back, you look at, I'm not saying every single player will stay, but if we were to if we could find out, my thing is find out how much these players want, how much is it going to cost to, hopefully we can keep the coaching staff intact, as we talked about. As Kyle alluded to, there's a lot that Blake has on his hands, but let's say that the number is we have $4 million. Let's say that we need $5 million. So we need another $1 million. I really believe that our fan base would step up. We just have to have the administration. The one thing I will say to the administration is please tell the number that we need. If you put it out there and say we need $6 million, $5 million.
I think there's a reason they don't do that, because they don't want people to know what you're playing with the other schools.
I know, but I mean, we got to do something to
I would imagine those numbers are being said behind closed doors. But what we need to do is be more aggressive to everyone as a whole. We don't have to put a number out there, but we need to be more out front as we need as much money as possible.
Yeah,
and it needs to not just be behind closed doors to the big donors. Let's talk to everybody and get everybody to, give what they can within reason. I can't give, much more than I do, but I'll give a little more.
But the point is I have a lot of respect for you because you are trying, you are giving.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. And I mean, I hope everybody else does the same, but unfortunately they don't. But as far as to answer the question about $1 million for Hauser, I think if we have $4 million, I think he can go as high as $1 million. You got to get him in a room. You need to do it now. Get him in a room and say, do you want to be here or do you want to go chase Power 5 or Power 4? And if he says, if the money's right, I want to be here, I'd probably shoot him an offer of $700,000-800,000, see if he take it. And then if he won't, then you come up with $1 million. This is our top dollar. Either take it or leave. But I'd want to know as soon as possible because, you got quarterbacks like the quarterback from Western Carolina, which put up insane numbers this year in the portal from the FCS level. And you need to get the best quarterback you can possibly get if we're not going to have Hauser. So we need to be in the $6 million range, comparable with UCF and Memphis. Yeah, Pays, I agree with you. But we have enough money, I think. If we have $4 million, I think we can keep Hauser. I think, as far as Riddle, I'd like to have Riddle, but I don't know. He's a safety. Can you, and I know safeties are important to this defense, but how much can you spend on Riddle? I mean, I don't think we can spend $1 million on a safety.
No. But the point I was making to you guys is, you remember, I say when Holton graduated, you remember 2023, what a debacle that was at 2-10, and we thought that we had a quarterback or two quarterback. We didn't have Jack, and so
I never thought we had a quarterback at all. But I remember saying repeatedly, bring in somebody from the portal, when somebody else saying
Mike Houston did. Mike Houston certainly did.
I repeatedly said bring in somebody from the portal, and then somebody else kept saying, well, what if Garcia transfers if we do that? And I said, good, let him. So, $400K on Riddle. Yeah, I mean, maybe. But, man, you got to keep Yannick. You got to keep Brock. I would say on paper receivers are easier to replace. But, man, we didn't do a very good job in the portal this year with receivers. I mean, you had what's his name? Huh?
Petaway?
No, not Petaway. He sucked. The kid from South Carolina has stepped up against Memphis and Mangrum has some plays down the stretch. But Petaway was a disaster.
Yeah. Ethan makes a great point. Can we organize a rev share matching event with the Clarks and Garrett Blackwater? Absolutely. There's a lot of stuff that we can do, and I'm not going to get into it because we're already an hour and 10 minutes in.
Blackwater's basketball, though. I mean, he's in basketball.
Go ahead, Jar.
JR, I think we lost you.
Hey, how about this, Matt? My internet is not doing well tonight. I'm on the mountain tonight, and it's just, I apologize. It's embarrassing. It's not good. I'm actually thinking I should log out and come back in.
You sound good now. Now I can hear you. You're good now. It was just for a minute there, but I'll kind of jump in on that. I mean, for me personally, guys, like I this is just my own philosophy. Like, you look at winning football teams, great football teams, they build it up front. The O-line, obviously, we talked about quarterback. That's the first priority of any team, quarterback. But for me, I want to build it up front on the O-line. And, I want to spend big on an offensive tackle this year if we can get one. I know it's hard to get, but preferably I'd like to get two really solid O tackles. I would spend big there. The other place where I would spend, if you can find a pass rusher, I think that's huge. A guy that can come off the edge and wreak havoc on an offense. Those are the types of guys, they can change games in a flash. And, so for me, it's going to be quarterback, O-line, pass rush. Whether that's a defensive end, an outside linebacker, or an interior guy who has some quick twitch. I think we need to look at that. And then the other thing too, guys, just a point I want to make is you look at Anthony Smith. He's obviously graduating. He's been tremendous for us this, the last 2 years. A pickup he was. But this offense will not work. It will not work unless you have a wide receiver, a true deep threat like he is, because this whole thing is predicated on run the ball, take your deep shots down the field to Anthony Smith. We've got to identify our next deep threat. I don't know if that person's on the roster. Maybe it is, but you need a guy who's like a true 4-3, 4-4, legit track type guy who can beat the defense over the top. So another position there I would spend on, but that's how I would approach it. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah. What do we have coming back on the O-line? Bubba said we have 7 O-line commits. I'm assuming he means from high school JUCO ranks. I don't know. What do we have coming back on the O-line? Because our O-line got better.
Very thin. Very, very thin.
Okay.
I mean,
right.
Our best guy is definitely Emmanuel Poku, who's the right guard. I mean, he's
Panda.
Panda's not eligibility.
Panda's gone. Kyle Long is gone. Darius Bell is gone. And Tarnovsky he didn't pan out like we thought he might. So he's not really. I mean, I don't want to be blunt, but we're not going to really miss him that much. He's replaceable. But we don't have much coming back at all. I feel like we need to keep Poku. What do you think about Weaver, Matt? At right tackle.
Yeah, I mean,
right tackle.
He definitely improved a ton over last year, and he's a guy you want to keep in the fold. He can still get better. He's still pretty young. McCrimmon, as Ethan just mentioned too, he's, you want to get those guys back. I mean, that's right there. That's two, what I would say, like competent tackles in your system. You're going to have Carson Jones back from injury next year. Hopefully he's back to 100%. He was going to start at center for us this year. So if you look at it like this, just think about it from this perspective. If you have Weaver and McCrimmon, Poku at right guard, Carson Jones at center, that's 4 guys with a lot of starting experience. Now you're looking at left guard, where you lose Kyle Long and Panda Askew. So, it's not quite as bad as it looks at first glance, but the thing is, you don't want to stay the same. You want to keep getting better. And if we have money to spend, I think you got to spend it up front.
Yeah, Justin Butt said, who are some guys that transferred out last season who could return?
Yeah, I keep hearing that. I don't know if that's just coming from what happened with Teagan. I heard Holton talking about that. So I don't know if there's legs to that. It sounds like there might be. I don't know who they're talking about. That's a good question. Is it Sowell? Is it IBM guy? He played quite a bit at Virginia Tech.
Not taking him back. I am not taking him back.
Sowell?
No.
Screw Sowell and his dad.
IBM played a lot at Virginia Tech this year, so I don't think it would be him.
Where did Jackson go?
Give me a first name.
You have our linebacker that went to SMU. You have a few guys that went to UNC.
Oh, the UNC. I heard that the guy that was for the defense, right?
Who's that?
The guy you're talking about.
Mims and the guy from Maryland.
DJ Mims.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them.
Mims.
Yeah, like Holton said, I'd heard it early in the week, like just people asking me, like at work and stuff. But like, are we going to try to get? They were asking, will we try to get those folks back? But Chad and
Gavin Gibson, I don't know that I'd want him back either. I don't even know if he has eligibility left, but he's the other one that went to Carolina.
Yeah, but basically what you're looking at is you're looking at what I heard is like, so in other words, like we talked about, you have the guys that we already have coming back, right? And then if you could get some of those guys back that we lost from last year, then that would help us with our run for, conference championship and a playoff. And you look at it, by the way, Matt, I was going to add to what we were talking about earlier is the fact that, guys, we have a legitimate chance right now. Man, last week just hurts even more. But we have a legitimate chance to win the conference championship next year. We may be the odds-on favorite, and especially if we can get some guys back from last year and then find a way to hold on to Hauser and find a way to hold on to the offensive and defensive coordinators. I know it's a lot to ask, but it's I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. I think that by the way, I want to get your thoughts on this, guys. One question I had. If you're JDB and you're Josh Aldridge, yeah, you're chasing money, you're trying to climb the ladder. I get all that, but wouldn't it be better as a coach for your stock value, if you will, if those guys come back for another year and we win a championship, let's say we have a magical year, go into the playoff, they would have a bigger job, right?
Well, I mean, they're taking a risk that their side of the ball doesn't, blow up for some reason or another, due to injury or whatever. I mean, it is a calculated risk. Don't y'all think? What do you think, Matt, about that?
I'm sorry, guys. It cut out for a second.
Okay. I was saying it's a calculated risk. Anytime you decide to stay one more year, if you're offered a big job, but you say, I'm going to stay one more year and try to build my stock up, and then you have an off year, then you may never get that other opportunity again. So it's a risk, but.
Oh yeah. No, it is. It's a chess match, man. It really is. And you got to have a little luck with it too.
Oh, Barker. Yeah.
Oh, no doubt. Great point by Bubba. I mean, he was the one that I think everybody was upset when Barker left because
he was our green dot guy.
What's that?
He was our green dot guy on defense. He was calling the plays. And when he left, I mean,
oh yeah, you're right. Last year.
It was definitely noticed. Definitely.
Yeah. And he was tight with Blake. I think Blake was kind of, devastated when Barker hit the portal.
Yeah.
I thought he was a senior, though, but maybe not. Hey, so I have a question about you keep talking about Caton Hauser and trying to get him back. Do you feel like Chandler Morris's season last year at North Texas was heads and shoulders better than Caton's this year? I don't. The reason I'm asking that is because Chandler Morris got 1.5 at UVA. And I feel like Caton's season this year is probably better than Chandler Morris's was last year. So I'm just trying to figure out a price that other teams might be willing to pay for him. And it's probably in the 1.5 to 2 million range.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We can offer him $1 million, and if he wants to be here, he'll stay. But if I don't know, I'm just going to throw out a team, and I just, Tennessee wants him, then, they want to pay him $2 million. We're not going to be able to match that. So if you get in a bidding war, he's going to have to stay here, but we're going to have to offer him enough money where he's going to be happy. He can leave a legacy here. He can win. He'll have a chance next. Somebody asked in the group, one of our viewers said, losing the offensive line, receivers, would that affect Hauser's decision? That's a good question. I mean, as he look around what he has coming back, Holton talked about had he had to, because of his injury in 22, there was a brief moment where he thought he was going to have to redshirt because he still had a redshirt year left. And he said if he did, he wasn't going to come back in 23 because so many of the pieces were going to be gone. So is it a situation where Hauser looks around? I do think if we can hold on to receivers and tight ends, if we can hold on to him, he's got weapons. The question's going to be the O-line, and he convince all these guys to stay together with some pay increases, both on staff and with players, to come around and win a conference championship and potentially make the playoffs next year, and then everybody go make a whole lot of money.
Hey, Kyle, I agree. When you mentioned tight end, Rouse and Connor had 11 of the 20 receptions against Florida Atlantic, and they've been getting more and more balls thrown their way. I feel like the tight end position, Matt, we were talking about off air, what positions we think we really need to retain. And I'm not saying that it's at the top of the list, but I feel like it's significant that we need Rouse and Connor, or at least one of them, but both of them would be even better. Rouse is a junior, Connor's a sophomore. They really have a lot of, input in that and the offense that we're running right now.
And I feel like
definitely.
Matt, I was going to pitch it to you, Matt. I mean, don't you think, and I'll ask you guys, we'll start with Matt first, but don't you think, like, for me, I know you and I have like similar mentalities when it's like go big or go home. But it's like, for me, I feel like it's Elvis. It's now or never. Let's go for it. Let's go. The term I use, balls to the wall. Let's go balls to the wall and do everything we possibly can. And then obviously some players are going to leave. We understand that because on their own or because they're told to leave. But as far as the major pieces, this is the era we're in, and we've talked about it ad nauseum, but we've got to do it. If we don't, then we're going to have to accept mediocrity or worse. I mean, that's just the way I feel, but I wanted to get your take.
Yeah, I mean, I think this would be the year to take that calculated risk, right? Like, look at Texas Tech, what they did last offseason. Now we don't have, obviously we don't have nearly that kind of money here, but Texas Tech right now is a team that could legitimately win the national championship. They're that good. I think they're number one in the country in run defense. They give up like 60 yards a game rushing. It's ridiculous. The turnaround down there in Lubbock, they saw an opportunity last year and they went for it. It's a calculated risk. Sometimes those things pay off, sometimes they don't. But if I'm East Carolina right now, this is as if you just project forward with this current, the system, the offensive and defensive system, the coordinators, the head coach, we have the right head coach in place with Blake. Next year, you're set up perfectly. So you got to take your chance. And I agree with that. I think this is the year you push all your chips in and you go for it.
Yeah, but
What do you have to lose? What do you have to lose?
Here's the thing. Would a school like East Carolina do that?
Oh, wow. Wow.
Therein lies the problem. I don't know what John Gilbert says behind the scenes, and he's made some good decisions. Hiring Blake Harrell was a good decision. But so I'm not going to sit and knock everything Gilbert does, but he doesn't excite anybody. You don't hear him out in front going, "Hey, look, we need to get some money raised here because we can win the American next year and make the playoffs." You don't hear him saying those things outwardly, and we need that. We need that to fire up the fan base, and we need that kind of attitude. And his contract's coming up. It's time to extend. Yeah, in the spring, it'll be time to extend him or let him go. So I'd like to see some balls from Gilbert publicly, and publicly I'm saying. Again, I don't know what he's saying behind the scenes about us, competing for a conference championship and a playoff spot, and trying to get out front of this. Utilize your resources, and your resources aren't just the 5 donors we always seem to rely on. Let's get out and get all of Pirate Nation fired up about giving some money, about towards revenue sharing, and talk about keeping this thing together as much as possible publicly. Because you look next year, what we could have coming back with South Florida losing their head coach, Tulane losing their head coach, Memphis losing their head coach, North Texas losing their head coach. You got Blake Harrell. Navy, while they've got their head coach, Blake Horvath is gone.
Yeah.
Army will be back in the mix next year. So UTSA, I think, will probably be in the mix next year. But
Is McCown back, Kyle?
Hey, Kyle just mentioned four
yes,
teams.
I believe so.
You just mentioned three teams that might be back next year. And it's funny because those are the only three teams other than East Carolina that are bringing back their head coach. I'm not talking about, obviously, the first-year coaches. Let me rephrase that. We are the fourth. Blake Harrell is the fourth most tenured coach now in the American, just behind those three teams that you mentioned with UTSA, Navy, and Army. But I feel like Navy and Army have a little advantage because they don't have a lot of turnover. You know, they have continuity, I think, which goes a long way, especially with their offense that they run. I just feel like that gives them an advantage. And I think you're right, Kyle. They're going to be, you know, teams that are going to be at the top next season. I believe that.
Navy's gonna have a tough time replacing Horvath. I mean, he's that's going to be a big loss. But besides that, I mean, you know, next year if we can keep, you know, we're going to lose some pieces, but if we can keep the majority of this nucleus in place, and, you know, with our coordinators, with our assistant coaches, with our players, we could have a special season next year.
Ethan makes a good point. He said Gilbert needs to go. He says we need a go-getter AD for the final wave of conference realignment. And that was another point. Thank you, Ethan, that I forgot to mention to you guys earlier in the afternoon when we were bouncing stuff around. And that is the fact that if you take a look at us, and let's say we have I'm not saying we will, but let's say that we go all in and we have a miracle season, that helps us with a lot of different things. And so that's what, I mean, for me, we see what Blake Harrell can do. He has the best start in the history of our program at 8-4. No other coach, 3 Hall of Fame coaches haven't even touched him on that. And so for me personally, I don't think it's a flash in the pan. I think these.
Well, I mean, based on last year, no. I mean, last year he took over the second half of the year, went 4-1.
Yeah. Hey, here's something that will give Blake his due, that you know, his recognition that he deserves. Okay, so he's lost I guess now a total of 5 games. He's lost a total of 5 games. After each loss, he's won the next game by an average of 41.5 to 15.7. I mean, he's not only winning the games, but, you know, we're rebounding really well, I guess is what I'm saying. We're making adjustments off of losses and coming back and kicking some ass. So, I mean, that's on
the one that wasn't a blowout was NC State. So they've all been great.
That's true. 26-21. That is absolutely true. And I was counting the Army loss, even though that wasn't his loss. The team lost the game, and then he came back against Temple, you know, and won 56-34. So after a Pirate loss, when Blake's the head coach, you know, he's 6-0 with a crazy 25.8 point per game winning percentage. Hey, real quick before we leave the subject of who we want to keep and who we want to spend money on, I'm interested in what y'all think about running back. I mean, we got 4 that can potentially return. I think that Parker Jenkins is probably going to leave, but I feel like Engelman is the most valuable of the 3. He's a freshman. He's a killer at pass blocking.
Did he play yesterday?
No,
I don't think he did. But
I didn't ever see him in there.
No, I don't think he did. I don't, you know, who knows why? But I feel like he's someone that we really need to have back. Lacey also is a great pass blocker, and he's only a sophomore. I mean, I know, Matt, you mentioned that you didn't like the way Montgomery was going down too easy, and that's something that Lacey and Engelman don't do. Like, they seem to shed the first hit a little bit better.
Yeah, I think Engelman's got a little he's got a little shake when he runs the ball. Like he's got a little quicks. Like, you know, I definitely want to hang on to him, and you know, I think we can upgrade that position though. I really do. And like, if you look, Kyle, remind me, what was the name of your favorite running back? Vintavious, right?
Vintavious Cooper. Yeah, I love that. A recent history, yes.
Can you imagine if you had a running back with that type of ability to cut and jump cut and make people miss in this type of an offense? I mean, it would be ridiculous. So I think if you find the right guy, JR, I think it can really, propel the offense forward. Yeah, no doubt. Because I think too many times this year we missed big runs when they were available.
Like you talked about, Matt, they didn't have the running backs at the starting of the season. They just didn't have the vision, right, for the field to really make cuts or do anything. And then as the year went on, maybe some of that was for the protection from the offensive line. I don't know.
Hey, I said we have 3 running backs coming back. We actually have 4. I forgot about Ryan Roseborough.
Yeah, he got a touchdown yesterday.
He did. Well deserved.
No doubt. Anyway, I was going to mention, by the way, here's another thing. John White was bringing up that Gilbert talked about. I'm sorry, not John. I beg your pardon, Robert. That Gilbert said the $750,000 buyout from Wake will go to revenue share. Hey, there's part of your money right there for Hauser.
Do we get that now, or do we get that in 27?
That's a good point. Are they buy? That's a good question. I was thinking that this afternoon when I was in my kitchen.
They're buying it out now. I would want my money now.
And you just take that money and put it directly towards Hauser.
Yeah, hopefully we negotiated that.
I don't know. Are you guys ready to move on and talk about the?
One more quick point I want to make too. Like we talked about going all in. I don't even think we're going all in really when you think about it, because by all accounts, when we get the additional revenue from gambling in the state of North Carolina.
Oh yeah, I forgot all about that.
That's going to be another factor here, and I don't know too much about it. I don't want to pretend to know too much about it, or if that's going to be next year or the year after. But did talk to some people who are have some political influence, and they seem to feel like that's going to be a huge win for ECU. So I don't know if you guys know any more about that, or if any of the listeners do. I would love to hear it.
I'm glad you brought it up, because I remember hearing about it maybe sometime last year, early this year. I haven't heard anything recently, but you're right, Matt. That would be I hate to use the term game changing, but it definitely is big for us, because we always as Pirates do more with less. But Johnny, help me out. What's the name of the general manager? I'm drawing a blank. We met him at media day.
Luke. I just call. Yeah, you know what his last name? I know it, Dave.
I'm drawing.
I'm like Kyle. I sometimes I blank on names. Luke Mullet.
Okay, yeah. Our general manager, that's another thing, a point I was going to make to you guys tonight. Our general manager has done a marvelous job compared to some other folks. And, we talk about this, and I know I'm throwing some shade in at UNC, but they spent $20 million on that roster. That's embarrassing. And I'm not a Carolina guy, but that's embarrassing. You spent $20 million on a roster.
I think it's great.
No, I'm not saying that I'm upset about it.
I'm with you, Kyle.
I think Belichick's doing a great job. They need to keep him, keep everything status quo. Just keep doing what they're doing. You guys quickly want to talk about bowl games? That's surprisingly we have not done that. There we go. The gambling money will probably not be this year. This is out of the budget. There you go.
Yeah, our wonderful state. They can't pass a budget, which is supposed to be required by law. That's a whole nother subject. I'm not going to get on that. Let's talk about more of a fun topic, and that's something everybody's been talking about on social media everywhere you go. People have been talking to me yesterday and last night. Kenny says, money well spent at UNC. But as far as the bowls, I realize some people in our audience may say, Dave, it's too early. I get that, but it's so much fun. I'm excited.
Too early
to talk about it. Yeah. In other words,
when the hell should we talk about it? It's going to be announced next weekend.
I know we got a whole week. What are we going to do? But I feel like that it is fun, because it's fun to talk about it. Hell, there were years that we didn't even come close to 6 wins to even get to a bowl. So the fact that we're in a bowl, I think it. Robert says UNC spent $5 million per win. That's funny.
We look at the bowl situations here. There's a lot of opportunities out there. One that's coming up now, the SEC didn't qualify for the Liberty Bowl. Everything goes as we think it's going to the playoffs. So, that's a bowl game that looks like it's going to, I think it's maybe written in the contract. It comes to the American if the SEC or Big 12 can't fill it. So that's a possibility. That would be against the Big 12 opponent. You're seeing, speaking of the Big 12, I've seen us come up. I don't think this makes a lot of sense.
Cincinnati.
Yeah. I've seen us come up also for the Armed Forces Bowl in Fort Worth, which I don't think makes a lot of sense, but that would be against the Big 12. I'd love to play Kansas State personally. The Fenway Bowl will be against the ACC. The Gasparilla Bowl down in Tampa against the ACC. Military Bowl, I think, again, is going to be in play. That would be against the ACC. And then I think the only chance that we go to a bowl that's not against a Power 4 opponent would be if we go to Myrtle. And, that will be supposed to be against the Sun Belt, but there's some talk that could be UConn, which UConn's a 9-3 football team and a lot of turmoil right now after Jim Moore Jr. left to go to Colorado State. So I'd be good with any of those. I'd like a Power 4 opponent. I guess if I had my preference of all those, I'd probably Liberty or either military again. But I know a lot of people want Boston. That's not a trip I'm going to be able to make. Gasparilla, great opponent, but the 19th at 2:30 in the afternoon. My wife, that's a weekday. My wife's a teacher. They don't get out till the 19th. Myrtle Beach Bowl's also the 19th. That's an easy trip to make. I think Gasparilla is a great opponent, great destination. I just think it's going to be a hard trip for a lot of people to make.
Well, I heard that when we won yesterday, Myrtle's out. Right now, we said no to Hawaii. So it's going to be down to Boston, which we talked about with Fenway, Gasparilla. We talked about armed military, and I just don't see us going to military. And of course, Liberty is an outlier. That would be great. I just don't see us.
I don't think it's an outlier. They're going to take somebody from the American. Now, are they going to take the loser of the championship game?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is that
I also heard they were interested in Navy. So that's where I think the military could come into play. Military wants to keep Navy at home this year. If the Liberty takes Navy, then Navy may want or military may want us. So it'll be interesting to see.
I like that, Pace. I was going to talk about that. Thank you, Pace.
ECU, Wake, and Fenway, Duke, Army, and military.
Would that be funny though? That Pace, that is hilarious. The Army playing on Navy's field. Oh my God. I know it's the Military Bowl, but that's like the time when Duke played at Carolina in '89, and they had their home jerseys on at the Dean Dome. That was nuts.
I think they've done it before. I think Army's been to the Military Bowl. Am I wrong on that?
I'll have to look it up. I'm not sure on that, but I was just thinking that's. Matt, I was going to ask you about that opponent, ECU, Wake, and Fenway. The more I thought about it, after. You have to have storylines, and after what they did to us, like they don't want to play us or too good to play us, they can use whatever excuse they want in the book. I think it will be a great matchup. How about you?
Yeah, I think it'll be a really good matchup. How ironic would it be to have two schools from North Carolina coming all the way up to Boston, Massachusetts in 20-degree weather? And I said it last week, but that bowl game is all about who wants to be there the most because the conditions are always terrible. Pace says, yeah, Wake has a ton of alumni in the Northeast. And so, it'll be interesting. I think
anywhere.
What's that, Kyle?
Wake doesn't have a ton of alumni anywhere.
They're one of the smallest D1 schools in the country.
Exactly.
You're looking at like 6. We have the most. That's something we need to promote. We have the most living alumni in North Carolina, the whole state as far as our fan base. We have the most, so I don't know why we wouldn't promote that more. But anyway,
but to answer your question, I would love that matchup. I think it would be a fun matchup. I don't know where it would be, or if it's in Fenway, but that would be a good matchup.
Yeah, Wake would be good. I'd like to play Wake. If I had my druthers, if you ask me what bowl game I'd want, Liberty Bowl, and it's a Big 12 opponent, I want Kansas State in Memphis.
Ooh, that would be cool. I would say, and that's another thing, Kyle. That's January 2nd.
Yes, yeah, that would be easy one to make. Yeah, but Fort Worth, that's a long trip.
Yeah, Yeah. You get the family truckster, right, Stevie?
Yes, sir.
The family truckster for road. That's when Mackenzie yells road trip whenever we go on these ball games. That would be a long road trip.
I want Stevie to roll up like Uncle Eddie in that in that recreational
Full, Matt.
vehicle.
It's full, Matt.
Let's see there.
That's an RV.
Wake has a lot of alumni in DC. John White, former pitcher for the Pirates. Kenny says he's looking at hotel prices in Tampa. By the way, Matt, I was surprised. I guess it makes sense. I was looking this afternoon because I figured maybe people would ask, but Boston and Tampa have really reasonable flights. I was really shocked. Maybe like between Tampa was a better price, about $157.
Well, that's good.
And 274, 250s, 274 in that range for Boston. So I don't think
is that for you out of Raleigh, Dave?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I always try to travel like Raleigh or Norfolk, but Raleigh's bigger than Norfolk as far as the airport. So I feel like maybe they would have a better price. I don't know.
Yeah, no, they should. And the only bad thing about the Tampa game is good flights to Tampa. That's good because I think it's a tough trip to make because of the date to drive down. So that's good that the flights are reasonable.
What is that? What is the date, Kyle?
19th at 2:30 p.m. Friday the 19th at 2:30 p.m. So a lot of people still going to be working.
Yeah,
one day later on the 20th, it would make it so much easier.
Agreed. And that tells you as much as they want attendance, that tells you that television is more important than attendance. But yeah, so Duke, wait, hey Matt, another one that I was thinking about. They may have one too many games, but I would really love another team that I would love to play in Fenway is Pitt. What do you think?
No, thank
you. They were looking really good for a while. They got they got their asses handed to them yesterday.
Yeah.
They've been a weird team this year.
They're a little bit more used to the cold weather than we are. I don't want to play them in Boston.
But I was thinking about the ECU Independent days when we played Pitt a lot, including beating them in that exciting game in '91 for the Peach Bowl year. Those kind of teams are teams that I wish we could schedule. I know we're not talking about scheduling tonight, but that's a team that I wish we had a home and home with. I know that's going to be hard these days, but it would be nice to play them. Look, it'll be nice whoever we're playing. But by the way, guys, when
JR and Stevie, what do you guys want? What do you guys?
Yeah, we want. Sorry.
If you had your one choice of the bowl game, what are you thinking?
That's a good question. I don't know.
I mean, Myrtle's convenient as well. We're out of Myrtle, but that would have been convenient.
What is Brandon talking about?
Georgia Tech in the Dowdy Ficklin Bowl with just one more home game. What?
We can't do that, Brandon. What do you? I don't understand why you're saying that.
No, there was a guy that was trying to do the barbecue bowl, but that didn't.
Yeah.
Myrtle Beach got picked obviously over, and Chicago was it Chicago? There was like
it was, and then it never happened. Yeah, the Chicago Bowl never happened.
Right.
But I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
I think he's wishing that we had a home game, but that's just not gonna.
The closest thing would be Myrtle, and then Annapolis again. I think the only reason some people are down on Annapolis is they don't want to go there 2 years in a row. I enjoyed the trip. I would totally go again.
Annapolis was great. I mean, they have a great I tell you what, as a commissioner, Stevie, that downtown is to die for. That downtown they have in Annapolis, wow, it was real. What did you guys think?
I wouldn't die for it.
It was awesome. Yeah, we had terrible weather last year on game day. And it was still a good time. Can you imagine a little bit better weather? I mean, that downtown is great. Good restaurants. I'd be okay with that. I'd be okay with going back to
it's an early kick.
It's a beautiful, beautiful city. Lot to I don't know. There's a lot to do, but it's beautiful. There's plenty to do. I enjoyed it. I'd like to go back. The downtown's nice. I I don't anybody that went last year. You say the weather was bad. It could have been way worse. I mean, the rain, yes,
It was
but
warm.
the temperature, but yeah, it was in the 40s. It could have been instead of being 48, it could have been 28.
And Ken Island was pretty cool too. And doing that show at Jody's, that was a good setup.
Yeah, the Fisherman's Inn. Yeah,
The bridge, I could do without that bridge, but
doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah. So early.
Anybody that grew up going to the Outer Banks, that bridge does not faze them.
Not at all.
No.
Hey, man, Kyle, not at all. And
No,
Jody,
the Bay Bridge bothers me because it's so long. It's like 3 miles, and it's very skinny lanes. But I saw that Athlon Sports, I think it was, had us playing Cincinnati in the Liberty Bowl.
Yeah,
and that would be kind of interesting.
Yeah, I saw that. I'd love to go to the Liberty.
Yeah. Okay. So I was going to say something about that. I was going to say something about that. It'd be an interesting matchup because their tight ends coach is Curtis Fitch, whose dad was the Pirates offensive coordinator in 2007 through 2009. Curtis Fitch and Luke Mullet came from Cincinnati. So there's like a lot going on there between us and Cincinnati. So that might be interesting.
I think
go ahead, Dave.
No, I was just going to say really quick. I think with Memphis, the great thing about Memphis is there's a lot to do there, and right after the New Year, January 2nd, that's a good time.
Yeah, and I mean, since he wouldn't be my pick, it'd be fine. I'd love to play Kansas State. I think Kansas State is very beatable. I don't know how excited they'd be to play East Carolina. And I think they're a very beatable football team. Not the Cincinnati, not the Cincy, but on paper, I really like the Kansas State matchup.
I agree. And Matt, we talk about all the time and guys, Stevie and Johnny chime in. We talk about all the time about potential teams we can play. How about that with K-State? That would be a great game, not only to have in a bowl, but maybe even we could do a 2-for-1 with them. I don't know.
Sure, I don't know they'd be interested, but it'd be great. And that is projected for Armed Forces in Fenway, but that's just a projection. It could also end up being them in Memphis.
Kentucky firing Mark Stoops tomorrow.
That I don't know about that. Kentucky should probably take a good look around and see that there's not a lot of people left out there to hire. So I don't know.
Yeah, they got. I'll tell you, I was shocked how bad they got killed
by Louisville. Right?
By Louisville yesterday. Good Lord.
That's why they're getting fired as people. I mean, that's Duke, North Carolina, and the state of Kentucky. That's Alabama, Auburn. I mean, that's a big rivalry.
It's funny that they fired him now because, there were rumors out there that Summerall would like to go to Kentucky because he played there. That's where he played, and he's a huge Kentucky guy. So he would have probably been interested in taking that job.
Michigan State hiring Pat Fitzgerald.
Man, that is a tremendous. Now, I know there were issues at Northwestern. I get all that. But purely from a football perspective, the job Pat Fitzgerald did at Northwestern is unbelievable how good he was there. If you're Michigan State and you could pull that off, that's a damn good hire.
Where's he been since Northwestern got rid of him for
allowing? I don't think
he was unhireable in some people's view, which is ridiculous, but that's how I feel. Isn't that right, Matt?
Yeah, exactly. I think he was just basically trying to get out of the public spotlight for a few years.
Yeah.
And
I'm a fan.
I don't know all that went on there, but
just you like a good paddling?
It was the hazing issue. He was. There was a lot of hazing going on at Northwestern.
That's why I said, would you like a good paddling?
But yeah, you guys make a good point about firing. We were talking about earlier, firing. You fire a coach and you have no plan. That sounds like, oh, wait a minute, Confer. But we've been through that, and they had no plan. And Matt, I know you talked about Penn State. Penn State is a really good job, and I can't believe that I can't believe that they don't have, and they can say all that. Maybe they do, that there's a coach that they're going to hire from another school that's going to take the job that's still coaching. I don't know, but man, I thought they would have some big name coming after you get rid of Franklin, but we'll see.
How about talking about coaches real quick? I'm a fan of this guy, and he hasn't been in the talk about people that were out of the public view and hiding out for a while. Nick Rolovich, first of all, when he was quarterback at Hawaii, he lit it up. You know, he won me many a wager, late nights when I'm chasing. Anyhow, Nick Rolovich was coaching at Hawaii, and then he got the Washington State job, and then COVID came, and he said, "I'm not taking that shot." And they said, "Well, then you're going to have to resign." And so he didn't take the shot. They fired him. Now he's back on Cal's staff, and they fired Justin Wilcox. So here comes Nick Rolovich as the interim coach, and they're 17-point dogs to SMU, and they won the game outright. I would just love. I know it's one game, but he was very successful. Where he coached before. I would love to see that guy get another opportunity. I'm not sure
Let me
where
ask you. Let me ask you a question. How in the blue hell do you get fired? And I remember when all that happened at Washington State. How in the blue hell do you get fired at Washington State for refusing to take a COVID shot and end up in friggin' Berkeley? I mean,
yeah, that's the whole thing. The GM is Ron Rivera, and I'm not trying to be political, but Ron Rivera is pretty woke, if you want to use that term. And there's no way he'd hire Nick Rolovich. I'm pretty sure of that.
The one that surprised me the most, guys, Jim Mora Jr. I mean, he went to Colorado State, but like, if I was a big school, I would really. It's too late now, but I don't know why he didn't get more attention, because I mean the job he did at UConn.
I think he would have if he'd waited.
Yeah,
I think he is. He grew up in Colorado. Part of his life, his dad was a head coach at Colorado, Jim Moore Sr., and so he grew up in Colorado part of his life. So it may just he wanted to get back out to that area. Would be my assumption. I don't know why you wouldn't wait.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree. Because he, I don't know if it was maybe his age that scared people off a little bit. He's probably in his 60s, I'm guessing, which is not, but he seems to be at a good point in his career where he's getting it done. So that one surprised me a little bit.
And to think that he did a good job at Connecticut when they only care. I mean, let's face it, they really only care about basketball. They do have a good baseball program, but the basketball is really the only thing they really care about. So the fact that my point is, he didn't have the support he could have at another school that's willing to spend more money. And it's not like Colorado State is a bad job, but I agree with you guys. The job he did at UConn, he deserved. Would you guys, just speculating, because I know that he's already taken a job, Matt, would you hire him at Florida?
Jim Moore Jr.?
Yeah.
I would prefer him over Summerall.
Yeah, I don't think his age should really be that big of an issue, since Kirk Cignetti is the exact same age, I believe. Nobody's afraid to hire him.
He's like 66.
Good point.
Jim Mora Jr.?
He's in his 60s?
Yeah, I think Cignetti's like 64, isn't he?
Yeah, okay. They're both in their 60s, yeah.
I believe he is.
They're both in their 60s, yes.
Jonathan Smith, who got fired at Michigan State, will be interesting to see if he lands anywhere. Former Oregon State.
Well, I can tell you, about Jonathan Smith.
That's what
nobody's going to get this.
He's a dog.
No, nobody's going to get this joke. Nobody's going to get it. But I can tell you, Jonathan Smith is an angel. Nobody's going to get that joke.
No.
Nobody.
It's a TV. It's from a TV show.
Highway to Heaven.
Oh,
okay. Yeah.
Stevie is out. Yeah, Stevie, hope you're feeling better, dude. He's Stevie's checking out on us. He's not feeling well. So I don't even know if he's going to say goodbye, but there he goes.
I know.
Hey, Bubba, you just put up that Jim Mora Jr. is 64. What about Signetti? How old is he?
As is Kirk Cinetti,
What did I call him?
66.
Holy.
So I said 66. I'm wrong.
Like they're in their 60s. I mean, are we sending them birthday cards? They're in their 60s.
No, I'm just saying that Jim Mora Jr. is still probably got a lot of coaching left in him.
He does, and I think, but I think if he went to Colorado State without seeing what else is out there, he went there because that's where he wants to be. He wants to be in Colorado.
Yep.
And
he grew up there. His dad
Yeah,
was
exactly.
on the staff at Boulder, so
Yeah,
I mean he's been.
And everybody seems to hate that lives in Matt. I don't know if we'll wrap this thing up here. Matt, I don't know if you hate Connecticut, but I don't think you love it. Everybody seems to hate Connecticut that lives there.
I don't love it, but some of the highest taxes in the country.
Rich people, Kyle. Rich people live in Connecticut,
and that's why they only use Balsam Hill.
But you got good nutmeg, don't you, Matt? What is that? The nutmeg.
He did what to Mag? What did he do to Mag?
I said nutmeg. It's the nutmeg steak. Couldn't they come up with something a little more enticing than that? Like,
depends on what Meg looks like.
There's just nothing too great about
the WWE's there.
ESPN's
WWE
there.
is here, but it wouldn't be the place you'd pick to live if you had your options. But I mean, I'll tell you, this coaching. The dominoes have been interesting to watch, and it just seems like there's not a lot of guys out there. I mean, but again, you look at our stability for next year in the American with all these guys leaving, you have an opportunity, you have a window for sure that we need to capitalize on.
Absolutely. I don't know if we'll have a show Wednesday night or not. There's nothing to preview.
We do have one.
Why?
Well, we have a Wednesday. We have a Wednesday show. We have none other than John he's actually been on our show once before, but we're going to have what you should get a pirate, for the student stores. John Palmer, the merchandise manager. He's definitely in. So we'll have a show on Wednesday. If y'all, I don't know if you want to do it, but if you don't, fine. But we're going to keep the continuity of Wednesday night, and if any rumors, anything we hear, anything from players from the portal, anything like that, we'll be talking about that, and there might be another guest or two that we can get.
Well, Dave, you're forgetting something. I can't believe you're forgetting this. I thought you were a basketball guy. We're going to be talking about the big win over UMES.
Yes.
UMass. Maryland Eastern Shore. We're going to be talking about how we just, destroyed them. So hopefully, anyhow.
Well, I'll tell you guys, our basketball program is a dumpster fire right now. Don't get mad at me, JR, but I know.
You know what I'm mad at? I'll tell you what, Matt. I'll tell you what I'm mad at.
I'm very disappointed I'm really disappointed in the job that Mike Schwartz has done. And, I just don't understand what he was trying to do with this team from just a positional perspective where he's trying to build a paint team in an era that's predicated on perimeter shooting and guard play, and you're trying to build a paint team with some very questionable bigs. I just don't get it, man. I'm lost. I don't understand what he was trying to do.
Okay, Matt, let me just follow up with this. I actually have been feeling bad. Oh, I'm over it now, but I was feeling bad after the Wednesday show for a couple of days because I felt like I shouldn't have been so harsh towards Coach Schwartz. But a part of the reason is I had zero expectations for this team, like none, and I wasn't going to buy season tickets because for me it's just too big of a commitment. But I did it based on what he convinced me that we were going to be competitive and these players were going to, there were the right pieces that we needed. And clearly that's not the case. And that's why I was a little bit harsher with Coach Schwartz than I should have been. But hey, I want to say that last season, obviously we needed a 3-point shooter then, and we had decent 3-point shooters. But if we would have had one guy that was better, it would have made a difference. And instead, we're like far worse from the perimeter. Like you said, this is not an era where you dominate in the paint. You need perimeter players. We have none. So I agree with you, Matt. I'll be watching the game, but yeah, I'm kind of I kind of apologized for being so harsh last week because I am a basketball fan.
Johnny, I know you called out Cameron from Goldsboro on Pirate Radio yesterday for the fifth quarter, and he called anybody spending money on basketball or idiots or something like that. A paraphrase.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what he said. And then I said that he wasn't a true Pirate and that he has no right to criticize people that are actually putting out money for a product that's not real good right now, but they're trying to make it better for Pirate Nation, and that he was scum. And then I felt bad about that. I really did. I mean, and if you're listening, Cameron, I don't think you're scum. I just was really puzzled by that remark. You would think that you'd want all the Pirate teams to do as best as possible. So
right, his point, I know what he was trying to say. What he's trying to say,
best in football.
In football, the problem is if you want our school, we want to be a Power 4 school. We want to be at the next level. And guess what? If our basketball program is atrocious, it doesn't matter how good our football. It doesn't matter how good the baseball team. It doesn't matter. Our Olympic sports can be good. It does not matter. Men's basketball, you have to spend more money, and that's.
I don't think money's the issue. We spent $1 million. I think it's piss poor coaching and piss poor talent selection. I mean, we spent over $1 million on the roster. It's basketball. I mean, it's a small roster.
You know what's going to happen, fellas? There's just going to be donor fatigue. And I truly believe that. People are just going to get tired of donating large sums of money and getting this. And it's going to be hard to recover from when we start losing the donors that we have now. You know, it's just going to be hard.
Blackwell, you know, when Schwartz leaves, when he gets fired at the end of this year, Blackwelder, I may be saying his name wrong. I know. He's Garrett Blackwater. He's a billionaire. Probably ought to get his name right. He hasn't given me any money. That's why do I care. But I would let him. You know, we need a name. Find out who he wants. What name would excite him? And you know, if we hire who he wants, will he put in some money to get a big time hire in here for basketball? Because that's something we've never done. We've never made, you know.
That's true.
We always seem to make the wrong decision. I go back to when we brought back Dooley when we could have hired Odom. He wanted the job. He was at University of whatever the hell it was, Baltimore, whatever, that upset Virginia in the first round. But now he's the head coach of Virginia.
UMBC. But you know what? I thought Dooley did a great job. I mean, I may be in the minority, especially the second time. I just feel like he did as well as possible.
Yeah,
I give Coach Schwartz credit also. I'm sorry, Matt. I just wanted to say I give Coach Schwartz, thanks for keeping RJ here for as long as he did, because RJ was a generational talent. You know, there aren't that many RJs out there, and he was able to keep him here. So I do respect that.
Yeah, thanks, John White, for pointing that out. But I mean, it's amazing to me that, and I'll be honest, I'm very down on the program. I'm really down on when I watch that product on the floor. There's just the plan was, to roll with, look, I think Woodard is a solid player. He's not a perimeter shooter. Jordan Riley, very good all around player, not a perimeter shooter. Travion LeBeau, I keep hearing about,
he's out for the year.
Was our plan to build? I mean, he didn't show much from the perimeter last year. If anything,
perimeter defense is good, but offense, not at all. Not one bit.
So I just don't understand how you construct a team with no shooters. I mean, absolutely no shooters. It's inexcusable. And when I watch this product on the floor, it's a tough product to watch, guys. I mean, it's that St. Bonaventure game. If you go back and look at it, and I'm kind of going off a little bit now because it really bothers me. But like St. Bonaventure did not shoot the ball well. in that game. They didn't play particularly
until
well
the end.
Until the end. We had every opportunity, but like as bad as they shot the ball, we were way worse. I mean, it's just unbelievable that in this era you're trying to build a team. Now, did he think Delorier was like some stretch 5? He hasn't shown any of it. I mean, what was this guy looking at?
Here's the problem, guys, is that the problem is with this team is you have a lot of guys that have quote unquote potential. The problem is they didn't have a lot of playing experience. And now I'm not making excuses. I'm just telling you what's going on. And now
they all had plenty of playing experience, not at the D1 levels. No, M-Bank did, but and obviously Gio coming from George Mason, but some of these other guys, they played basketball their whole lives. And what I noticed, Matt, was all of a sudden now Jordan Riley is our best 3-point shooter. And we both know Jordan Riley's a scorer. He's not a shooter. Right. Jordan Riley is a scorer. He's not a shooter. And if he's the guy to take all of our 3-pointers, then we've got big problems.
Yeah. And what did we pay Corey Calker to come in here? I mean, he can't make an entry pass without turning the ball over. It's literally unbelievable.
He finally got pulled, right? I'm sure you noticed that. And you know what I like? Hey, Matt, what did you think about them putting Patty? What's his name? The Australian assassin, Darcy. Patty Darcy. What did you think about them putting him at 2? I loved it because of his length, and he was really aggressive on defense. But man, he allowed those 2 3-pointers at the end, like he just didn't get out on his guy. But before that, I was liking it. I was liking that move.
Yeah,
Mike, I know. You shoot well at practice.
Scotty Moe says what we're missing is City's food.
Yeah,
that's right.
To your point, JR, like I don't think we run out to the perimeter enough, like to where we close out on shots. I mean, they were just open shots all over the floor for St. Bonaventure. We got lucky because they weren't knocking them down, but they were getting wide open shots.
I sent a few texts in the group chat of 3 different plays where there wasn't nobody within 15 feet. No. And one of them, 4 guys were on one side of the court, and there was only one guy on the other side of the court, and 3 St. Bonaventure players. And that guy taking a 3 literally was playing like a game of horse or something. There was no defense at all.
Right. And like, I'd rather run guys off the 3-point line and make them put it on the floor and attack the basket instead of giving just wide open looks from 3. So like, we don't do the little things well. We don't pass it well. We turn it over constantly. I mean, it's almost unbelievable when you watch how we turn the ball over. And then defensively, we don't really do a good job running out to the perimeter.
No,
it's a mess. And I know I'm being a little harsh right now, but when people donate money to this program, you have a guy like Garrett Blackwelter who donated a lot of money. And several others. This is not an acceptable roster.
No,
I'm sorry.
Here's the problem. I'm going to make it short. But obviously we're terrible at 3-point shooting, but we're equally terrible at defending the 3. So every single game, the opposing team has about 6 or 7 more 3s than we do. So that's 21 points. You got to find a way to make up those points somewhere. And it's almost impossible. I mean, we get to the line a lot, but you're not going to, it's really difficult to make up for the deficit that we're having at both ends of the 3-point line.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
Yeah. It's just, it's one of those things where, again, that's why I had to say something about Cameron, whatever his name is, from Goldsboro, is that, it's not a pride thing. We are very upset about basketball, and basketball should be a lot better. And I'm really happy that football and baseball is doing well, but there's just no excuse why. Matt, for example, I'm not delusional. I didn't think we were going to beat Michigan State, but my God, we didn't even show up for the game. I mean, I would think, I don't know what the line was on that game, but it was embarrassing. The Michigan State game was really embarrassing.
They called the dogs off, luckily.
Oh yeah, exactly.
if they wanted to Jeff Trailer us, I mean, it would have been a 70-point win.
Hey, speaking of Jeff Trailer, has that guy gone off the deep end in the last few weeks? Like, what in the world?
I
is
know.
going on?
I agree with you.
I mean, what happened with Army yesterday? I mean, what's going on with this guy? It's like he's holding grudges from games from last year. I do not think we had any cheap shots on McCown last year. I really don't.
No, you know what? Kids wear their helmets so loose nowadays. It doesn't take much to knock someone's helmet off at all.
That's true.
I'll say this, Army's beat them twice, once in a conference game, once in a non-conference game in the Dome. You hear those rumors about the headsets, and hate to spread rumors, but God knows you ain't going to cheat against the U.S. government. So, I'm just saying. But anyway, Trailer's a red. If y'all heard, and this is coming from one, I think Trailer's a bit of a redneck. So just from hearing him speak, so I think that could be his issue.
Pace has said he's just mad. He's bitter. He hasn't got a call from a better job. That might be true.
Well, he's got to learn how to win on the road. It's crazy to say when somebody kicks your ass that I think if we played them again, particularly if it was in Greenville, like if we could play the Dowdy Ficklin Bowl, if we played them in Greenville, we'd beat the crap out of them.
I agree, 1,000%. And you're right, Matt. He had some choice words with Monken. I mean, what are you doing? Like, okay, you had your streak come to an end, but you knew eventually the streak was going to come to an end. And it's not like Monken has a bad program or you lost to a really bad team or they did some cheap shots Jeff
Monken is the most stand-up dude in coaching, I would think. I mean, I've listened to his podcast. I like him so much.
I like him.
That I listen to his podcast just because they're good motivational, he's very centered and he's not that kind of guy.
Cut blocks, maybe.
What's that?
Cut blocks, maybe.
Is that? Are you asking why he was
blocks.
pissed?
Yeah, Trailer may be pissed because of cut blocks.
I think it was something from last year when they played up at West Point. Something that happened on the sideline. I want to say, again, just like he holds some weird grudge against us.
Man, I was talking to somebody about this very subject before the show, a couple minutes before the show, actually, and we were talking about Trailer, and he said, "You know what it is? He's a Texas high school football coach. That's what he is.
He's a redneck."
And you're right. And now he's on the sidelines of a major college football team, but he's still just a Texas high school football coach. And I think that's true.
So, Payne said he calls him salty Trailer. How about this? Trailer trash.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. That's going to be used against us, but thankfully we don't play him anytime soon. So
I use it against me. He can come. We'll talk face to face, Jeff Trailer. You like to talk shit. Nobody can talk shit better than me. Let's talk, baby.
That'd be. Hey, do you want me to invite him on the show?
Get him on. We'll ask you what his problem is. I'll find out. I'll get to the bottom of it.
Guys, since we're kind of going off here on different subjects, all right, let's see this comment from Bubba first. Apparently, Monken pushed UTSA player helmet to the turf on sideline as he was stepping over. And that was last year, right, Bubba? That happened last year, I want to say.
Apparently, Monken pushed a UTSA player helmet to turf as long as he was stepping over.
That didn't.
That's perfect.
So Monken was stepping over the UTSA player and reached down and pushed his helmet into the turf.
That's apparently what happened.
Wow.
Since we're kind of going off here, this is like a round robin, just going off on everybody right now. But let me just take a minute and go off on Lane Kiffin because.
Oh yeah,
please do.
Yeah, to me, there's not a bigger dirtbag in college football than Lane Kiffin. And
amen.
People feel free to disagree with me, guys, but this guy, I mean, how many jobs is he going to take in the SEC? He's the definition of a narcissist.
Amen.
He's as arrogant as they get. There was a report that came out today that really aggravated me that he wanted to apparently finish out the season coaching at Ole Miss. and he made some threat that, if they didn't let him coach, he was going to start poaching players and coaches. If that's true, that guy, again, like he's now at the level of like a Bobby Petrino or somebody like that. I mean, complete dirtbag. You can't. That's where I was going, Pays, with the whole Ho thing. Now, I'll tell you, the problem with the Ho thing was when Kiffin approached that reporter or podcast or whatever it was, that guy should have stood up a little bit, I felt like, because I didn't like how Kiffin kind of approached him and then walked away. But look, this guy, he just has no class. What do you guys think?
Yeah. Go ahead, Johnny. Sorry.
I was just going to say, he left Tennessee in the middle of the night, and he's always, there's some people out there that are just never happy where they are. They always think that there's somewhere better to be. And I feel like that's Lane Kiffin. And I'm telling you right now, I don't know how the contract is structured at LSU, but if for whatever reason, Bama has a bad year and they get rid of Kalen DeBoer, Lane Kiffin wants that job. I wouldn't be surprised if he jumped, from LSU. He's just never seems to be happy.
Yeah, if I was that podcaster, my response would have been, if you ask a girl, beautiful 20-year-old co-ed, you ask her, hey, would you sleep with me for $1 million? And she says, hell yeah. And then you say, what about $100? And she says, ooh, no. Why would you ask that? Well, we've established that you're a whore. Now we're just negotiating price.
Oh, man.
So it's the same thing. Lane Kiffin has established he's going to go for whoever is going to pay him the most money. So it was an accurate statement. He left Tennessee for USC. Then things didn't work out at USC. Then he ended up landing on the feet of FAU. Now he's going to leave Ole Miss for LSU, and he was playing it for money. So, it was an accurate statement by that podcaster, and he shouldn't have backed down on it. I mean, it was a great analogy and catchy and edgy. And somebody, there's a point of being, look, the point of being no, man, shut up. You're a multimillionaire. Somebody's telling the truth. You know what pisses people off the most? The truth. If you say something about me and there is not a bit of truth to it, I'm not going to give a damn. But if there's an ounce of truth to it, an ounce, that I have to guess myself. And I'll use an example here recently. We had a listener and a fellow friend of some of the people here on the show call me out for cutting people off. I do that. I acknowledge I do it, but I don't just do it on the show. I do it in real life. And I can't stop it. It's just part of my personality. It's just how I am. But nothing will make you more defensive than when there's an ounce of truth to something you said. So the fact that Baby Kiff got his feelings hurt by that comment means there's truth to it. There's truth to it. I mean, he is. When you will go to the highest bidder, whoever's going to pay you the most, you are what you are.
Yeah. Nick Saban, when Lane Kiffin was the OC at Alabama, Nick Saban did not allow him to coach in the national championship game because he'd already signed with FAU, and he allowed him to coach the playoff game. But then he told Lane, no, you're gone, because Lane Kiffin was selfish and he was given more time to FAU. And he wasn't concentrating. He was late for meetings, and that's just the way he is. He's the most important guy. So Nick Saban already sent him packing, and didn't allow him to go to the national championship game. So, Ole Miss is, I agree with exactly what they're doing. Plus, they have a head coach now.
I would rather lose that game at Ole Miss than put up with his crap. It's just unacceptable, and yeah, well, I mean, what more can you say about this guy? I mean, he's just. And you know what? The reason why like I've been hearing. Sorry, Dave. Let me just finish this point, and then I'll shut up. Players move at will now with the portal the way it is, but this thing goes back. The coaches started this. Coaches started all this with their lack of whatever word you want to use, whether it's loyalty or. Just chasing the next best thing. Coaches started all this. So, if you're a player and you see a guy like Lane Kiffin, the first thing naturally what you're going to do is look out for yourself. You're learning that from your coach. So yeah, this whole thing it's crazy, but he gives, I think to me, he gives college football coaches a bad name.
Well, here's the thing about Ole Miss. To me, you're promoting from within. Your head coach is already on staff. There's no need for Kiffin to stay around. He's just a distraction. If you were going to hire from outside, then I would say for the benefit of trying to win a national championship, let him finish out the year. But since you're promoting from within, get him out of the way and let's get going to try to win a national championship. So yeah, the Ole Miss AD definitely did the right thing. Get him the hell out of there.
And here's the thing for me is the 90. I think it was, what was it, $90 million unofficially or whatever. Okay, yeah, we understand about the money. Here's the problem: Ole Miss, if he were, let's say hypothetically he had stayed, we know he's not. If he stayed, he has more of a chance to be a big time legend at Ole Miss than to be at LSU for a year or two. I mean, hell, every time they have the LSU is just not ever. Speaking of, I guess Johnny, it's the perfect marriage because you have the program who's the worst in the country, who is the most unappreciative and ungrateful for. They've got to always win a national championship when there's a lot of good teams out there. It's more schools than LSU. And then you have Lane Kiffin, who, he's never happy. He's never happy. He's never happy. And when you have a win that said Florida over under firing a year, 3.5 years. So will he be fired in 3 years or 3.5 years, 4 years? What do you guys think? Over 3.5 or under 3.5?
Who?
Lane Kiffin.
I have no idea. I don't know. He may go to LSU and roll. If he wins the national championship at LSU, he'll probably go to the NFL next.
He's already been.
Yeah,
he'll go back. He'll go back. Yeah. He'll want to do it again.
That was horrible. That was horrible.
Hey, Dave, I wanted to follow up on something you said real quick. Is you can Google and say Lane Kiffin interview where he says money means nothing to me, because this was recently. He said, someone asked him in like week 5 about coaching at Mississippi, and he was like, yeah, well, this is where I want to be. Money's not, I'm not driven by money. But he clearly is driven by money. But, at Ole Miss, you're correct. They don't expect national championships. Just keep doing what you're doing. We love you, and, we'll support you. You're not going to get, your blood pressure is not going to get up. But at LSU, man, if he loses one game,
right,
they're going to be like at his throat. I don't know why he's doing this to himself, but I'm going to enjoy watching him fail, hopefully.
Well, just imagine Ole Miss. Speaking of Ole Miss, David Cutcliffe, that was at Ole Miss, his wife told the story of how he lost a game, or it was not, in other words, it wasn't like he had a disastrous season. He lost a game, and a day or two later, somebody put a for sale sign in their yard, and they were not planning on leaving. That's how big. But just imagine that like 10 times more or 20 times more. But LSU is like by far like ridiculous. And look, and guys, they are giving a contract, and I know they have money. Dave,
hold on a second. I'm gonna hop off of here. I got a cold and it's starting to get to me, and I need to take some NyQuil and take my butt to bed. So, guys, I guess we'll be back Wednesday night. Hopefully, we'll have maybe a little bit more clarity on the bowl situation. Probably not until the weekend. Y'all enjoy the rest of the show. Everybody, be good.
All right, man. Feel better.
Feel better.
All right, we'll see who can last as long.
I agree with you, Dave, on that. On your last point.
Yeah, it's really sad to see someone that he does this. I mean, he didn't. I thought for sure that I would have thought that he had learned his lesson after Tennessee, but look at him. He's just not. That was way early in his career, and then he's leaving. He gets fired on the tarmac, like we talked about. It just why? And if you're an LSU, let me ask you guys this, and we can wrap it up. If you're an LSU fan, don't you know this guy could be? He's like another. We mentioned the guy's name. Bobby Petrino is another guy that literally has a job interviewing for another one at the same time. Always.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, do you guys have anything before we get out of here?
Jeez, man, I think we covered a lot. We just went for 2.5 hours. So,
I think so.
Yeah, a lot to talk about tonight. yeah, I guess my final thing would be, it's going to be an interesting couple of weeks here to watch ECU, and hopefully the dominoes fall in a good way, where we get, coaches stay, Hauser stays, and we're able to keep this thing rolling in the right direction. My fear is that when that first domino falls, and if it does fall in a negative direction, things could snowball a little bit. So we'll see.
Yeah. I would caution people not to freak out if a domino falls that you think is like, oh, we'll never recover from that. Because even with baseball, you get those, you see it, and then you're like, oh, how can we gonna? But it always works out. Well, not always, but in this era, we have the means to make things work. And like Dave, like you said, we're well positioned in the American for next season to make a really good run. So. We'll be okay in the portal. We're going to get some additions. We're going to lose some people, but I think overall, I have faith in Luke. I have faith in the entire coaching staff. We'll be fine.
I don't know if you guys remember. I'm going to leave you on this point, but you remember when they literally said, "Oh my! Last year we had friends in social media, and then our friends in these chat, and the group text and all that. Oh my gosh, such and such is leaving." And I had to look at the depth chart and find out, well, the reason he's leaving is because he didn't get any playing time. I only know who the guy is, and I should probably know all 100 players or whatever we have. But I just thought it was kind of like people panic when they see somebody leaving. There's a reason a lot of times the guys are told it's just not going to work out, and you can enter the portal just like people are leaving too. But a lot of those guys we lost last year were for that reason, right?
Oh yeah. No, absolutely. So
don't panic. If I agree, there's some players that we have to worry about, but overall, there's going to be guys leaving every single year. That happened even in Matt's era. Guys just didn't work out, so for whatever reason. So
yeah. Hey, going back to last year, real quick, Dave. I'll just say that you all brought up Zakai Barker earlier. That's the one guy that really did hurt us leaving. We really didn't recover from that. We never really did. If he was on this year's team, we would have been unstoppable. And our defense was awesome, but it would have been even better.
We had I had a quick question. Do you guys know, does he have any eligibility left?
See, I don't think he does, but the way Bubba was talking, I guess maybe he does. I was going to look it up, but my internet is so shaky right now that I don't want to open up another window.
Yeah. Okay. I was under the impression he did have one more year left.
I'm guessing.
Okay. Well, then
because I think he had a medical red shirt.
You could be right, Matt.
There was a season where he tore up his knee, and I want to say he got a medical red shirt. So I think he's got one more.
All right. We'll find out. Thanks, by the way, before we get out of here, I will say one more thing. Thank you so much. A lot of viewers tonight, a lot of listeners tonight. It's a record-breaking night. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Don't forget to follow us on our social media everywhere. And you can email the show at tso@gmail.com. Thanks to Kyle, Stevie. Hope you feel better, brother. Matt, Johnny, we'll get out of here. And we'll see you on Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. You've been watching the Pirate Football Playback on the Sports Objective. Good night, everybody. And as always, go Pirates.
You're watching the Sports Objective, the podcast for Pirates.